because it is now time for DSG versus Revenant. It's gonna be MYSG versus
Yo,
South Asia, and one of these teams will
boys,
be
today is the
eliminated.
most
I mean,
important
it had to happen
day of
sometime,
our
right, chat?
lives.
Shout out that
All
person.
of us. For all of us.
It was such a heartbreaker already a while ago.
Every
with the
single
elimination,
person
and we're gonna
here
get another
watching
one
right
here.
now.
Truth be told, though, it's like, oh yeah, we had
You
a
might
rematch.
not know it,
That's why we're starting our third series pretty late, and there is
but
always a
this is
possibility.
the most important day. One day you're gonna get married and you're gonna say to your wife, "Oh, honey, I'm so glad to be here with you on the second most important day of my life." And she's gonna ask, "Well, what the fuck, man? Then what's the most important day of your life?" And you're gonna tell her, "Well, it's the day I stayed up until 3 a.m. to watch this VALORANT team." What's VALORANT? It's a video game that I used to play 20 years ago. There was this team called DSG, started by this guy called disguised toast. Disguised toast, yeah, he was really good at this game called Among Us. Among Us, yeah, it's the social deception game that was happening during quarantine COVID. You can tell all that to your future wife, that you were here on this day to witness history.
Asia taking down Rapid Lo-Fi in relatively commanding fashion, and not only that, we're seeing so many improvements to the maturity of their play and some heavy hitters from the Kazakh side. You got Sultan, you got DOS9 doing all they can. They played that double duelist on Haven, and it's just so exciting to see what Revenant has in store for us.
Toast, I am from India. I'm just here to see you rage. Alright, show of hands. Who here is from India? Yo, to my Indian friends, nothing but love and respect. Let's have a good game today. May the best team win.
It's what the team is comfortable with. It's not exactly a bad thing, but it's just that I'm wondering how long they can keep sticking to that and seeing results, because we haven't been seeing, that strategy have long-term results, even in the tier 1 scene, right? So
Yeah.
how long can this continue?
It has its strengths and weaknesses, and they were pretty apparent actually.
Look
when
at
we
them
started
in
to play
the
on Haven,
nice
but
little
coming
yellow
into
jerseys.
Icebox, where it was more familiar territory for this
I'm
guy.
Filipino, now it's just lost.
Second half, 28 kills for him.
Don't worry,
Overall,
we'll
no
get
running
revenge
about
for
nothing.
you,
That's
my
how you win
Filipino
these games.
brothers.
You shoot, they die, then you are the winner. And what we see from this guy is also
You see lots a lot. Well, yeah, my man's been hitting the gym. He's got tattoo sleeve, earrings. He's gonna make it to tier 1 one way or another, and my man is he's gonna break some hearts. The Valorant honeys.
Yeah, and speaking of next level, I'm actually really impressed with Revenant so far, because they've exceeded my initial expectations, and that is who DSG will be up against, especially since, Revenant, I would say they started Ascension pretty convincingly,
Yeah.
but some players are more consistent than others. Like, you get 50-50 rounds a lot of the time for this team, but the thing is, we got a massive tip yesterday that Revenant's playbook might be more padded than we initially thought. That's because we saw that ICROCOM on their Haven
SK
against
Rossi,
Lo-Fi.
Yeah, and I want to put the credit to
GOAT
that one
Jet.
Coach Fields. I've seen some interviews.
Wait
where
a minute.
he really
This
wants to
Sultan
keep
guy
the
looks a
tempo
little
and
pale
try
to be
keep these
Indian.
players as comfy as they can in how they want to play as a whole, and remove a few
Starting to
dependencies.
think
Like,
they're
for
not all
example,
Indian.
I was watching the games versus Rapid Lo-Fi, and I remember I couldn't actually see around where SK Rossi
He's not
was
Indian? Wait, an
looking to
Indian
try and force on
team
top of
building a
him.
team without
Actually
Indian
bring it up, but
people?
we'll see
What
the
is this,
thing. I wanted
GE
to
Esports?
2 and 3 on Bind, but he was just a rifler the whole time to good results, really playing for utility that was exploited against SPG. And of course, the double duelist that you mentioned between DOS9 as well as Sultan. So exciting to see Revenant have new pages in their playbook.
Hey, maturity, right? Maturity for SK Rossi. New year, new me. And, you mentioned DOS9 and Sultan. Sultan was a big part of, so many clutch plays of Revenant, right? And you see this head-to-head between him and Grumble. I love this matchup. Really
I'm an
love
M80
watching
fan. My
this
luck
team
has been
plays
lucky lately.
game
Oh
on.
yeah, I
And
heard about
Grumble,
M80.
this
It feels
guy's
bad.
game is so good.
And I don't know if they're gonna be
I'm
back
so
next year.
good.
From all I've heard is this year was kinda like the last big
What's the
attempt.
biggest reason you're a Grumble stan?
I absolutely love the way he just, he's just able to turn around rounds for DSG, right?
Yeah.
You have the big lurk plays.
Yeah,
but
Grumble
he's
is
also on the
so
fringe and just be right in
like
your faces.
solid.
Yeah.
So while you might be distracted with Juicy and everything,
Big fan of
Grumble's off on
Grumble.
the side, probably getting a 2K or a 3K.
And-
But the thing is, with Sultan, the way he lurks is like sometimes you don't even know where he is, right? The number of times he's just able to do these grand flanks.
We got killed by the lurks
You
against
could be
Team
honest
Full
now,
Sense.
Ozamika.
Those guys
Congratulations.
lurked
You're absolutely right.
on
30
our
kills-
buttholes
30 kills from Grumble there in
non-stop.
that series against Full Sense, the most in his team.
It was
And on the other
absolutely
hand, I'm
brutal.
so impressed by Sultan and how he effectively showed up here in the first place. He got hit up by DOS9, be like, yo, you want to play for Revenant split number 2? And he's like, good, let's go. And an incredible partner in crime. We saw how effective he was, of course, on his usual role, and he's playing something like the Viper, right? But on the ISO, I still won't forget him winning a kill contract, popping on out by Silong, killing even more people on the Rapid Lo-Fi side. There is talent from Kazakhstan. There is talent right now growing elsewhere within the Asian region, and I, for one, see it blossoming here within Revenant.
And look, I love being surprised by Revenant over and over again. I'm prepared to be surprised by them even more. But I do have to say, I just said I was a Grumble. I do have to give my prediction, my vote over to DSG for this series. Do I think
Whoa,
it's gonna be
prediction
as
buff.
Of course, I think it's going to be as close as that previous year's. Hey, we're very lucky, Dex. Perhaps we get a second map 3, the
maybe.
second one of Ascension.
Maybe, but honestly, I'm gonna tell a little bit of a story here for my prediction. So there was an event here for this guys in Manila, and I just so happy got to get invited there, and it was actually a meet and greet ticket for some reason. It's like, okay, go up to Toast, and I say to him, I'm a big fan of your DSG team, and he's like, oh, that's really cool. Paraphrasing it, and he's like, do you think we're gonna make the Ascension? And I basically told him, yeah, and I'll see your team there. For me, this guy has my heart here in the lower bracket, and I got their shirts from that event.
Aw, man, he's a
Merch
supporter.
again, and we got DSG
Yo,
on the board here.
W caster, W
Like,
host.
I not only have the merch, by the way, I talked to Toast and I was like, yeah, I'll see your team at Ascension. Whatever.
Yo, I called it, okay? And hey, sure, it was a tough loss against Full Sense, but right now, this is the bounce back game that I think this guys needs. And if they play with the same confidence that we saw on that second map,
We
then
need them
Revenant
to
will
play
be
with
in
confidence.
but
My
Central
boy's
World
looking
currently don't have the
shaky.
answers.
My
Yeah,
boy's
that's
looking
exactly
nervous.
right. And I think
Look,
for both of these teams,
play your
I
hearts out.
don't
Play like
think
this is
we've
the last
really seen
Valorant
the
game you'll
hive
ever
mind
play.
really
Play
just yet, right?
for
It's still a bit
fun,
slow.
so that even
They
if you
both have
lose, you
skilled
win.
individuals already, so whoever can tap into that hive mind, into that synergy first, wins this series next.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see what maps are we gonna get. I'm really looking forward to Revenant bringing out Bind again, if it is possible. It has been their bread and butter. It's been their best showing throughout this tournament. And on the other hand, I'm thinking this guy's maybe something like Icebox, something like Ascent, especially the maps that they were so comfortable to play it back in the NYSE region.
You know, I also have, questions about the agent comp, right? They brought out new duelists. Revenant brought out new duelists last time. So is it gonna switch around again?
Oh.
Suddenly you have 4 potential players who could get on that duelist role. I'm not saying they're gonna run 4
SG
duelists,
fighting.
but it could switch around now.
Think about it actually. If Haven gets picked here, not only does Revenant bring out perhaps the Isoyoru again, but we saw how this guy struggled versus Full Sense when they played the Neon plus the Jet instead. Also, the concern there was how they played those roles, because when you have Vera on the Neon and Juicy on the Jet, Vera wouldn't get the operator. And then you compare it to map number 2, when Vera was allowed to play the operator, he was just hitting shot after shot early on into the game, going, I think, maybe even double digits with the op kills. So there still needs to be that sense of comfort here for this guys coming into the map draft.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And Vera was somebody that we also hyped up quite a lot. We definitely said, watch his op plays, even when he's on the Neon. It absolutely works, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know, with DSG, I feel like these players do have, I guess,
They got 2
they're
coaches?
a bit more united, I would say, than I see Revenant.
That's cheating.
But it's just that you have DOS9 and you have Sultan, and they're such key players for this side. I can definitely see
They're
those two
rich.
players, suddenly
We don't
winning
even
those
have
maps,
1.5 coach.
versus this guy.
And let's not forget the trio of South Asians we got here, the 3 Indian players. First and foremost, skill. Sure, he's not the best fragger here coming into the server, but we've seen him step up as an IGL throughout his career now, and especially here in Revenant, he's making some good calls to help out the team.
This guy's huffing drugs.
Paradox
What's he
also so
sniffing?
very flexible, can play pretty much any single duelist. You see him play Yoru, you saw him play the Raze, and SK Rossi, the flexibility to play Gecko. In a pinch, maybe he can be the op player, but right now, I like the style that he's playing. I like the mentality that he has to try and play for the team instead, not be too much of a hero. And then you look at that Haven map again, Sentinel, play the lurk, play for himself, and then you get the classic SK Rossi frags that you know and love. He was a garage now back in that matchup versus Rapid.
Here we go. This is the most important.
Jumping into our map vetoes in just a bit, you're
This
also
is it.
seeing what you mentioned, Dax, about SK Rossi. You're seeing that with a lot.
We don't like Haven? Yeah, get Haven out of there. We suck on Haven. Oh man, they banned our Icebox.
Team, and right here, we are getting
Our Lotus is okay.
We're not seeing Haven, and we're not seeing
Oh, y'all better not let us get bind or ascent though. Oh, you guys pick bind.
Yeah, the struggles
They
there really costing
pick
them
bind.
that match, which
Oh,
means
oh, you guys
Revenant
better
is
ban
gonna
ascent.
bring out bind yet
Y'all
again.
better
I'm so
ban
excited to
ascent.
see what we're gonna get from Revenant coming into map number 2. But
Oh, you're gonna.
Lotus also
Oh,
quite
you're gonna
interesting
let us
here
have
for
ascent.
this
You
Icebox
guys
match.
better hope this does
That
not
is
go
one
to a
maps we
game
started playing
3.
together really back in MYSG. But on the other hand, Revenant used to play a chamber comp on this map with SK Rossi. Does that change? Ascent at the very end. I still expect an ISO from DSG there.
Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see what they bring out on Lotus. We've been having consistent Lotus maps so far, Dax. It's like we've been seeing this over and over again today. It seems to be, sort of like a statement map for a lot of our teams here, and either they do exceptionally well. Or
They're running a
this is
chamber.
out of the blue.
But it's a
That's
bit different
crazy.
from what they played against True Rippers back in the upper final playoffs. We do see, or rather, it is save comp actually. So Paradox, SK Rossi, perhaps maybe a small swap within the controllers. This guy's back on the Neon and the Rays. And SK Rossi, we didn't get the off gameplay from the last series. Well, it's high time to do it now. I did see a bit of confirmation. You got Sultan here on the Viper. You got DOS9 on the Omen. So I love to see what Revenant has in store for us here.
We did hype up Sultan and Grumble quite a bit, right? But then you have this combination of Sultan and DOS9 on that double control. That is also incredibly powerful. And I do remember, when Revenant did make their debut, they were a big part of that. There was just so much control. And these two players, I can't stop hyping them up, and I can't stop talking about them. But, on the side as well of a DSG, right? You see that Neon and you know exactly
Oh
what you're
god,
capable
here we
of,
go.
coupled
This
with
is gonna be the
Juicy
most
on
important
that race.
pistol round of our lives.
Indeed, and we can't wait to step into Lotus for the first map of the series.
15 seconds until I have a heart attack.
Now, guys, listen, there is some logic behind my pick of
I
Revenant.
put
as we go into
10,000
this one,
USD
right?
on
I
DSG
sort of
to
threw
win.
away
We need
yesterday.
this
I
win.
said the underdogs are gonna win,
Bro,
and
you
that's
got a
exactly
gambling
what I
problem.
went
You're
for.
ba-
But
you're
I know
gambling on
conversation
tier 2
conversation with
Valorant.
Moto. It's a bit of an interesting one, to say the least, for Revenant.
Yeah, well, we're immediately going to get a duel over at A, I do feel like, right now, but with the utility that it already does barrage in, you're going to have to see him sent back. I will agree with you, the agent...
Ooh, these guys are orb
Getters,
getters, huh?
I was
A little
very impressed by
cheeky
his
orb
Cypher
getting.
autonomy when it went over onto Haven in the other day's game, but Chamber... I mean, you are running the DRX comp, so there's a lot of strengths that you can read.
Oh, here comes the stun and the blind. I can't see shit. I can't see shit.
How quickly they're already out.
Okay, well,
Trying to take
my
points.
team
Sarah's
can't.
gonna be
No,
another
Juicy
back
lost
line,
against
but
SK Rossi.
pick up Juicy
That's
almost
not
over
possible.
the door. They're getting in towards that B site. They're looking to get the spike planted, but no question mark actually put against that.
Wait,
gonna
they're
face up
going
a
into
better
Grumble?
start.
Nah.
Grumble stands as they do try to clear around here, dropping it.
They don't know about Grumble.
They're gonna force him back towards the back
Oh,
of the
they
site.
know
He's
about
gonna have to
Grumble.
try and duel it, but he's actually gonna get taken down by Paradox.
We gotta clear right. We're clearing right, right?
Rossi down to 10 HP though, Mitch.
Very low.
Guys,
Leaving him. Completely leaving
guys,
him.
we
That's
gotta
crazy.
clear the right
Takes
side.
HP, he's taken down too. Wayne will be
Wait,
able to
Styron,
finish now with that
the
spike
clutch
planted.
god?
The rest of Revenant can split up and play this 3 versus 2, not trying to give away too much here.
Oh no. Wait, hang on. I've seen this movie before.
Wayne did have both dark covers available at that point in time as well, so not able to assist for Styron, who now has his position known.
Styron has to go big here in the 1 versus 3.
Ooh, honestly, there's a chance.
So I don't know, a very unique
All
and
good,
interesting
all good.
round, ripping through the middle of B, going through Breakable, taking all that control. So yeah, good start from Revenant. I think they've hit some good shots, and unfortunately for Disguise, they couldn't quite put
Damn,
the pieces
Juicy
together.
lost his 1v1.
Yeah, we're going to need to see a lot of his adaptability on this composition that Revenant are kind of
Also, we did not.
because there's going to be a lot of bonus
We're
on
not
where
clearing
these walls of
corners
Viper are
during
going,
this
how up
tournament.
and down they're going to be, how maneuverable you're actually going to see DOS9 be as well, right? Because we're looking towards DOS9
We're
to be
making
one
a
of these
lot
players
of,
for this squad to really
character-
propel them. He's currently sitting at the top of the
uncharacteristic
tournament
mistake.
in terms of ratings. You got Sultan, who's actually sitting third, believe it or not. So these
Not a lot of
Revenant are going to be
clearing
massive, and
happening.
when you're
Oh,
putting
we're
DOS9
4-man
on the
pushing
first
out
line,
A. I
you
like
know,
that.
He's been playing the Brimstone and stuff, which is fine. But on towards
Oh,
the Omen for this
tech
one. it
issues?
will,
Is that why
just
we
a little bit
lost
differently in
pistol round?
towards this map. I think there's going to be real importance, Mitch, in this one for Paradox as well.
Oh,
right?
God.
He has to be the one that's
Not the
fragging.
tech
This
issues
agent lineup
again.
really relies on getting him involved in a lot of these duels.
Such a unique position. Hey, you know, when you think about a region like South Asia that's obviously got so much versatility, it's the combination of, you know, the veterans.
Looks like we
in
just have
Paradox's,
to
the
remake
Rossi
the
skills, and then
game.
bringing in the Kazakh talent of Sultan and DOS9, who, yeah, have been exceeding expectations, I suppose. So I feel like there's a lot of possibility in this roster of Revenant, but how well it needs to be dragged out is the question, because we always have been hearing from the desk, namely, you know, how the roles have switched up so much, which must make it so challenging as a roster to try and, like, find your feet in essence. So quick technical pause, guys. We shouldn't be too far away from
Oh,
that
with
one,
with
but,
the technical
for now,
pause,
it's been
man.
good signs from what we can see, but I think Disguise is just going to be a tough team to overwhelm in general.
Yeah, and they're in a bit of a predicament as well, right? Because they haven't been in a lower bracket. When you consider how MSYG did work, they were at kind of the top of it the whole time. They had a really easy grand final, I would say, in their 3-0 result scoreline. Not really even being touched, challenged. You can kind of say the
Yeah.
same thing. for
Hydrate,
in his
Juicy.
previous team
Hydrate.
over in Ascension last year, right? They had a great showing over at the group stage. They get in towards these finals where they had the skip into that secondary round into the grand final, and they come out with it at the end. So I think for Juicy right now, you know, you're in a lower bracket scenario, which you really haven't seen so far, but you've been in these scenarios in front of crowds. Nothing like this should phase you whatsoever, even if you're at a deficit, right? So you're really trying to bring your team up.
The craziest part about Juicy, right, is the crowds probably made him thrive, probably made him more excited, more of a better player. Because, yeah, it's something that he's familiar with, as you mentioned. And some of the other players, obviously, inside this competition, you know, have played at Tier 1 as well. So many bits of the storyline, but ultimately, I think what we've sort of seen over the last little bit is definitely a position of where the young talent...
Hey, he's
coming
taking a
up has
headset
been
off. That's
pretty
cheating, no?
exciting
You can hear
prospects.
things.
So, lots to consider. Many different factors that make this just an exciting competition in general. So many
Create 4 groups of 4.
variables that have come through the...
Chip, bed, rough, rock, stitch, parallel, uneven, plot, bumpy, scratchy, parcels, national. Scratchy. Scratchy, stitch, rocky. Rocky, rugged, uneven, bumpy? Lilo and Stitch, Scratchy, Rocky, the movie, Chip, National, Parcel, Rugged, Rough, Bumpy, Scratchy, Uneven, Bumpy, Rugged, Rocky. Rugged, uneven, bumpy. Patch. Parallel, plot. Cabbage patch, plot. Stitch, bed. Garden, bed. Garden patch, garden plot. Garden chip. Garden parcel. Yeah. National amusement. Rocky Mountains. The National Mountains. South Dakota. South. Rough, rugged. Oh. Rocky Parallel National Amusement? Oh, sorry.
If they can continue this form, they've obviously already won the pistol. Now they're trying to get some further information as we're back into the game, baby.
Absolutely, and you've got the creep up from Disguised already, so they can have a massive flood for the rotate if they want to.
There.
It's a bit of a weird freeze, isn't it? Sitting just behind that screen. Couple have got away, but they do clearly want to keep taking that fight as best as they can. But
Yeah.
Sultan's just keeping the eye on the prize.
Just on these pistols too, so grouping up is not a bad tactic.
Oh.
Get a little bit
Oh.
of in the fray. Get a kill or two. Now the Revenant know that they're really close from the back of that Prowler.
Oh, no, they know.
They can guess it.
They know from the Prowler.
That's all the information they need. Happy with that. Knows someone up's close. There's got to be some sort of sneaky setup. And now
They
can
know.
just waltz up towards B, which is
They're
free
smart.
of charge. They won't know that just yet. They won't know that there's a two-bedroom house with a pool in the back. But Grumble.
Our number
is gonna
one
have a
weakness
tough
is
time with
smart
just the classic
players.
here to recover.
Yeah, everybody on DSG is going to have a tough time in this round, specifically when they just have to throw caution to the wind and sacrifice these pistols into it.
30
The
seconds
Revenant,
left.
they're really pathing around the map, aren't they? They want to bleed out the time. It's one of their favorites. It's one of the things that they really have to be careful of in the later stages of this game. I really do
planted.
feel time management.
Oh, wait. We got
Oh
one.
my.
Oh, we got two. Wait, we got numbers
Couple
now.
of shots already coming through. It's funny there, isn't it? You know, you sort of sit in the silence and just wait to see what
Wait,
kind
Grumble,
of
Grumble,
comes
you
out
gotta
in a
know
round
this
like
Viper's
with just
coming.
the pistols.
Wait,
And
we got
DSG,
three now.
They're actually going to try go for this now. Okay. You're talking about playing it slow, playing it late, and now they're both sitting in.
Guys,
range.
guys,
This is gonna
guys,
be
there's four
really,
of us.
really
Go,
awkward
go,
to try and
go.
defend.
Hold it, hold it.
The Prowlers come out. The information is gathered. They've got it all now. They know exactly where they can go. It's a good seize that'll make them vulnerable, and Skills able to take a couple. Boombot should keep them away, so it's fine. They're chilling. We don't have to
Aw.
worry about it, Komodo. But still,
We
a
got,
round like
I
that
mean, it started off really
should never
well
get
with
that
3
close,
kills.
because look at what you've
Honestly,
got
we made
now.
it very
a
expensive for
single
them.
bulldog to take you to the bonus. That's rough.
Yeah, I mean, isolated frags at the end of the day as well, right?
Uh,
Where
but
SK
feels-
Rossi's
feels like we
lurking
could've
around,
been
and
way
he
more
gets
aggressive.
Immediately dispatched of by Juicy. You do a deep plant, you overextend a little bit, and then you get a little bit worried. I think the saving grace is going to be the fact that you've got the seize nade combo, you refresh the nade, you've got satchels, so you can buy a lot of time, but you need to see it cleaner in the next couple of rounds, because if you don't see an adjustment for Revenant in these first couple of rounds and DSG's momentum starts to build on this defensive side, they are just going to run at you. They are going to take the fight.
Jesus, SK Rossi.
Rossi already tagged up as well,
Ballsy
so
tanking all that.
couple of bullets of the headhunter already expended. But still, look, you know, the investment that they brought out here, they can be kind of happy with what they're going to go in offensively. But it just depends on where they want to go with it all.
Yeah, I mean, the telltale of a map like Lotus, right? Your Sentinel's usually stuck over at the C site, so for Grumble, he needs
I'm
to be
surprised they
able
were
to
able
deliver
to
something
buy
here against the
Vandals
lesser
and
weaponry
still
if
have
he is
that
by
much
himself.
money left over. They're rich.
Such an interesting beast, hey? Like, Disguise have so much control of the map, and Revenant have barely even taken any territory back to be aware of that.
Yeah, I mean, the other side of that is that they haven't expended too much utility to be able to clear things out, right? So you can see that Skills still holds on to a bit of this utility outside of A, calls for the wall to go up
Juicy
for
is
Sultan.
holding the fade.
Keep a couple of Disguise members interested over at that A site.
They're gonna
Clearing back in
NC.
now, grouping up, hands held. As they
They
can
kind of
skip
do
into
this, huh?
walls
They
because
poke
there
and
is
prod,
no utility
identify
left
the
on C site
weakest,
now.
and then try and rush
They are going
it.
to be able to get it in there free of charge. They won't know that just yet as Paradox does
Wow, that
expend the
is-
satchels.
That
Trying to
is
take
not the
control, trying
fastest
to look
raise
that spike to be
jump.
planted nice and quickly. Boombot to clear out further. And it's going to be a good old-fashioned 5v5 brawl on the retake.
Yeah, but SK Rossi coming out with a lurk as well. Will it go through the
Nice.
door or not? Because Grumble now only good for one. This is where it gets a little bit risky with the plant down.
Great shot back.
gotta
from
watch
Skills,
our
though, with
flanks,
just
we
the
gotta watch
ghost,
our
so
flanks.
That's a really nice position to be found in 4v4. And set back a little bit now because they've got weapons in tow to make the job done. Vera going to be able to find position as best as possible, but that's exactly what you mentioned. SK Rossi on that flank. Paradox, though, has to go big. Staren's already onto this defuse, and I don't
As
even
you
know if they're going
see.
to be able to get it. Komodo No way at all.
Yes.
Vera just
Yes.
gets straight in there, all up in the grill on this Neon, and this is the scariest thing that I think about. I've not seen a team that hasn't picked the Neon on Lotus so far in this competition look promising. It's been the Neon all the way that has really sort of taken advantage of this. And, you know, with Disguise going the double duelist in the Neon with the Raze, makes it
All right,
even
there's the
scarier.
big fight.
I mean, Revenant has been one of these teams that haven't adopted it, right? So they're still
This one's gonna set the
slowly but
tone for
surely
a bit.
making their way around the map. And that is going to be one of the things I'll keep my eye on. How slow are Revenant going in the beginning of these rounds?
Is Vera
How
feeling
fast
it?
are
We're getting a
Disguise
Vera
able to get
game.
an idea
It's
of what's
usually a
going to
Vera
be
game or a
happening?
juicy game.
Where you think back to full sense and
Okay,
JT,
I'm gonna say
these
this
rounds
guy,
are over in
this
less
guy is
than 10
not
seconds.
very
Just so quick.
proficient with
They
the.
are taking some
I've
control
seen
this time.
better
They've already
race
got a little
actuals
bit
coming out of
info around
Sykkuno.
Rubble. Now
I
they
must
can
say
simmer
it.
on it for just a second, still watching
I have
towards
to
mid.
be honest.
Yeah, and you got that one-way dark cover over at the side of Mound as well with a deeper camera, so you can use that for a bit of a retake setup if you need to for Grumble there.
They are pulling back a little bit.
Like no hate.
PSG did have a bit of a focal point
No hate.
towards mid. But obviously with that utility set up from Grumble, it's going to be hard to overwhelm irrespective. They do
But
catch
this
it
is
on the trip now, destroy it.
Ascension. I'm expecting
Rattle
people
does
who
good
knows
work.
how to do raise
Skills and
stats.
Paradox are both one away from their ultimates too, so it'll be a huge frag for Vera to find regardless of who
Guys,
it's on.
Vera.
That's an advantage over for Disguise. Now you'll start to see a bit of a lean for Revenant. Again, time is always going to be an issue for these guys. They'll send Sultan on for a...
Wow, they really like farming the Orbeez.
Might be able to find some good timing. Obviously with Breakable though, not yet destroyed. It is going to be tough because just again, look at this position Vera is still trying to take.
Oh, man.
They are
This
rotating back, and
Viper
it's a complete
is
rotation
snuffed
off actually,
up.
Komodo.
Yeah. The only thing for Vera is that breakable door is still not broken, right? So as soon as he sees this utility, he doesn't have to necessarily stay and fight, but he does want to get out at
Nice
least.
blind, nice
Just
blind
popped
by
this very
Wayne.
low down as well. I don't even know if he'll
Oh
find
God,
anything. It's
12
certainly the end to
health.
find Vera. He's taken very low down in the process. They do pop it out, but the Haunt's going to gather. No, not quite. No information. Spike getting planted. Position is now awkward.
Oh,
Juicy looking
man.
to swing
Okay.
around, but Paradox. It's actually
The
enough
satchel
for
might
him
be
in
bad,
around.
but
There we
his
go.
aim
So that takes the
is
advantage
not.
back the way of Revenant.
Skills on the
Up
plant,
in.
skills on the nightfall. And
Oh.
Styron to get a trade, and Revenant are still holding on to this one, aren't they? Now just down
Yeah.
to the leader in charge.
1v3. It's going to be super tough for him to get back into this.
Yeah,
but as
I've
I sort of
seen this
mentioned, right,
movie
you know,
before.
some low HP for Sultan. He's going to walk straight through. But as they get in towards Breakable, even if he does try to contest this, they've already got it so far back that it just should be easy done. But Styron does get a really nice shot to make it work. But Sultan, again, it's just too good. 2 on the opening, 2 on the close for 2 of these teammates for Revenant. And that's a great response after only losing the bonus so far. They get a 3rd.
Yeah, really well navigated around the map.
This
when
is
they
a
lose the
map
opening
pick,
frag
right?
as well, right? Collectively as a team, pop the showstopper in, get in towards the site. You got Sultan,
Oh,
who
man,
does
Wayne
manage
was
to win
not
that
looking
duel,
at the
and that
right place.
was a really important one at the end because it buys enough time and enough just space around the B side as well to still hold down a bit of territory. You reset the economy of Disguise now, who maybe Vera can start off the party with the overdrive, but apart from that, you're kind of relying on Revenant being at the right place, grouped at the right position because of how quick they usually take in these rounds. Slow.
Yeah, Rossi's lucky to be out though, isn't he?
Oh, we lost Grumble already?
Finds Grumble very, very quickly. And now
Oh
there's the
my
overdrive that we
God.
talked about Vera. Finds Rossi, but now he's got to pick up the pace as quickly as possible. Does get the information onto a
Jesus.
weapon. Does he want to pop this high gear and head straight through though? It's a little bit of an awkward one if he does try to do it. Has the fast lane, might be worth waiting, but instead they're going to make the call. They're going to pop through because the longer he waits, the less time on this overdrive is available, right?
The problem is that Grumble
Ooh,
losing
free
his life
gun.
over towards spawn means that that space can be found by Revenant.
Now they pop the showstopper, trying to find something, but all the information is being gathered off this Fade utility. And just they are so far forward, such a good position to be found in right now. But they need to make sure that they can actually walk their way back into this, right? Because Vera already onto the defusal, but it's Sultan, 1, 2, 3, and 4, looking for the ace.
We
The
let
skills will take it.
we
He'll
let them
steal
get a
it. It's not
4-man
necessary
eye?
for the ace. Sultan doesn't care. He just wants to be on top and in force. And Revenant, they take that 4th
Yo,
round
who's shooting the
without
eye?
Really, what felt like much pressure to them? They set up that post plan perfectly.
Yeah, just again recognizing the fact that Grumble has
We
usually been the
used
seaside
2
player
ults for
by
that. Come
himself.
on,
As soon
guys.
as they remove him and they see nothing over towards the
Who's
spawn
shooting
side of
the
things,
eye?
they can extend and set up for a bit of a reverse play with all of their utility as well. One-dimensional retake to come through from Disguise is not going to be a very strong scenario for them. So I think they need to not group up as much on these eco rounds and even more so on the rifle pitch.
Now Vera in, but it looks like they're already out. This is going to be a really tough one for Vera. Paranoia doesn't go the right way, but the Prowler
No,
will
we're
catch.
trying to not reveal our
He's going to have to let it bite too. So in the end, he's just going to give up the mound control and fall back to site.
SK Rossi popping the ultimate. So we'll see what that sniper's going to be able to deliver. But more importantly, Sultan one away from the pit too. Could be really, really well placed if they do manage to get into this C site and play post.
They've broken the tripwire too. No information gathered. Rossi, unfortunately, missing the 2 and a 4 shot. But they're going to fall away. They're happy with the information that they've gathered. They burnt a little bit of extra utility. The ultimate.
Oh, they might not hear the.
Gone, denied. But Wayne,
And
in
we
the
got
catch,
one.
in the afterplant. That's really, really good to be fighting.
Ooh, lost
against
that run.
Though, and Skills will respond.
Oh wait, Grumble gets
and
2.
Vera, though. Oh my god, Grumble. This is the thing. He didn't die early off the back of this round. He's still kicking on, and that makes it a really, really tough one for the rest
Oh
of the
my
round.
god,
Grumble
Vera
with
is such
3.
a
That is
he's
massive
such
step up for when
a
the team needs
cheeky
the
boy
lead in the
with the
cypher.
little rush.
Awesome
Tries
stuff
to
from
rush
VSG in
him
a second.
to pull
When you got
aggro,
that
and then
nightfall
Grumble
coming in
swings.
from Styron as well, you know that you can start to get a bit of a flanking play from Wayne to come into it when the audio's gone, right? So getting into the right position at the right time, just completely locking them all in mound essentially.
My
No
boy
way
Grumbo's
out.
cold
to just
with
be
it.
found. Distraction from Vera, just heads up play, exactly what's happening to at the end. That was really well done from Disguised, and maintaining a lot of this weaponry into the next round as well, right? You do start to chip away at Revenant's economy, who still will have a pretty substantial buy going into the next round.
Already jumping past Vera, but Juicy, he's up nice and close.
What?
Relatively quiet so far, but DOS9, he's someone who hasn't been. The Kazakh man finding
How
2
do we
already.
let this?
Now as they sit back, still at rubble, still being patient. Vera obviously spotted, getting info. I think they can just park for now. They don't have to fight
Yeah.
this any further.
Absolutely. You need to see something brought back for Disguised in this round, who might get a little bit ambitious, right? The tendency in this point in time to get in with that operator, to get out
Nice,
with the sprint.
Vera.
And
Oh.
Sultan, unfortunately, is just going to be giving that one. So a winnable and attainable position now back for Disguised.
My boy
Something
Vera
just doesn't
is
feel right,
deadly.
doesn't it? You know, the neon operator, but clearly it works. Just the inability,
Yeah.
the ability to get in and out is just so pivotal, and what makes the current meta so dangerous to play against the neon.
Yeah. I'm interested by the fact that Disguise is still playing the 1-1-1 across the map when you've got that trapwire still at the front of B. Now with the spot, you know it's just going to be destroyed with no real value, where you could have gambled on one of these other sites with another player. Plants start to go down, however, so on this 3 versus 3 retake,
I'm surprised we're
Boss9 has
readjusting
smoked
here.
to get a little bit of stalling out for Revenant.
I've got info off the back of that Prowler as well.
Yeah,
I
whatever
wasn't
we do,
sure
we
if
gotta
Styron
go
actually
fast. We
spotted
gotta go
anything when
fast.
He did peek in from heaven, but they're just going to relax
Wait,
for now.
Styron went
Rossi's in a
from
net
heaven
position. He's gotta be
to
careful
B
though,
link
because
back
Vera,
to heaven.
He's trying to get straight onto that line. He can't overstay his welcome on this chamber. He's so careful. Baits out the shot though, and walking on in now is Styron. He does get taken down, and they can pick up the pace. Vera puts the high gear in, but DOS9 finds his third. On for the ace here. That's a 4K. The man has been going so large so far here on this very map for DOS9. He wants the ace, but it's going to be denied. That's so unlucky. And Skills just needs to clutch it out. He can't lose this one.
We're
don't think he's
slow.
got time.
We're being
Yeah,
very
that's right.
slow right
They can't
now.
lose this one
Like, we're
by
winning the
time.
fights,
Just
we're
as
just
so
slow.
happens, a 5th on the board for
That's been 2
Revenant.
fights where
DOS9
we
again,
won
individually.
the fight,
These
but
2
couldn't
Kazakh
get the
players
round
for
'cause
Revenant
we're
have
slow.
come out with so many rounds on the back of this kill merit, regardless of agent as well, right? It just goes to show how aware and how sharp that they actually are, and how cohesive Revenant actually are as a team now. Such improvement from not only the course of Split 2 to Overwhelm True Rippers, but also just throughout the course of this tournament. Really well at adapting what's working well
And
for
we
them
lost
and
our
what's
op.
not, to deploy it mid-round, mid-game.
Crazy stuff, man. You know, this is a start that I don't think many people would have been expecting right now. Paradox goes straight into the relay bolt, and I don't think that's a happy position to be found in. That's a happy little accident. Vera finding it, but DOS9, he's here again. And again, already the impact
Nice,
this
Wayne.
man continues to throw out. Wayne with a good response, though. But the Nightfall actually does come out. Is able to dodge it with the Shrouded Step. Prowler will catch, get some info, but it's a 2-on-3 still. PSG
Grumble!
Oh, Grumble! He overlooked some shots at the exact same time, Komodo. They didn't look for him, but
We
Wayne
have
was able to
Spike.
pick that one up, and now somehow,
20 health,
some
20
way,
health.
In a world where it should have never existed, Sultan is in a 1v2, but he does find one through the dark cover. And now look at this reposition from Wayne. Is he going to be ready for this? No, not at all. Of course he's not. But has he made it into the tree? He absolutely has. Wayne had the positional advantage here, so he has to simmer. No, he didn't even go in. This is
Wayne,
such a
Wayne,
mind game round.
Wayne,
He is convinced. He is
Wayne.
sure. And Sultan, if he times this right,
Oh my
he might
God,
have a
Wayne,
toxic
yes.
cloud.
Yes.
It's gonna be Wayne. Jesus, man, I went through too many stages of emotion in that round. And
Holy
DSG find 3.
Good eco.
Oh boy.
That was timing on
When you're
timing
rushing
on
around with
timing.
The rubble from Disguise, when you send your Neon in, when you get some shots out, when you've got Chaos ensuring around it. I mean, sensational
Grumble,
work on the Haunt as well. to
Grumble
just
made it
piece
spicy
together a lot
there,
of
let me just
information,
say.
But when it comes to it, Wayne repositioning individually around the
What
map,
a
around this
reposition
A
by
site,
Master
and even
Wayne.
when you think, yeah, okay, we're toying with the idea of this rotating door, he's again just at the right moment, at the right time, with the damage that was done by his team earlier on to find the finish. A thrifty round to come on through in one of these really strange
Chris,
ones.
now's not the
where
time to
you
flex your
have
muscle. I lock
quite
in.
the readable ability reactions that you can actually throw in from Revenant, right? If you're playing as Revenant right now and you're wanting to go for some of this mound control, you actually
He's
have
just there
in
for
your
cosmetics,
deployment,
chat.
right, a rendezvous to get out if you're putting in your chamber there. You have, you know, these combinations of utility that you can get with a flash to clear out rubble. If you're putting out your Prowler, if you're putting out your Haunt, you can go for these lineups as well for the staggering of utility down. There's so much that we can actually see for clearing of this spot, but it kind of is just a little bit dimensional of a progression. Close rubble blocker smoke over at the root, and a barrage of battle.
Come on,
around
heat up,
it.
boys, heat up.
To be honest with you, against the pistols, is
It always takes you guys take you guys like
really
an hour to heat up. Heat up.
just to ensure that for Revenant, what they're doing is what they go back to, because what they're doing that's working has not been exploited yet as an
Look at them. These are two kids. We can't let children beat us.
Good time to let it all simmer as well. I think that's the thing, you know, you win the round, you take the pause, you give it back, and it's actually an additional pause as well to really make sure the conversation is had. Clearly whatever happened in the previous round, you know, was a breakdown in communication from the side of Revenant. So they need to make sure that that doesn't continue, right? That's always going to be a little bit of a plague, I suppose, to this team, where it just all breaks down at the macro and the team can't quite get on the same page as each other.
Yeah, one of the strategies that Revenant really rely upon is taking down the clock, right? Expending your opponent's utility, baiting out a lot of their utility. These fast plays for them isn't really in their nature, right? So I think that their tendency is to try and battle a disguise, you know, a Simpresa when they're going really fast, you know, it is never going to work, because the other teams just feel a lot more cohesive in thriving in that play, in having the quicker reactions, where these guys, yeah, we've got, you know, DOS9 and Sultan who are putting up the frags in a lot of this, but the other guys, you know, skills has not generally been really good so far in this tournament in spinning around with his head on a dime, right? They've been a little bit better when they're layering things out. And I'll highlight the elephant in the room for SK Rossi.
Oh, down eco?
Such a difference.
That's not
that we're
bad.
seeing
Although
from him
I
on
will
this chamber,
say,
as opposed to where he was playing on the Cypher, where he was playing on the Gecko on Biome,
I
right?
will
I don't
say-
really see the value too much right now from Revenant, propping him up to succeed on this role.
eco
That's exactly right, though.
sometimes
You know, you
like
swap
really
out
messes up.
the Cypher and get the Neon, and it's just such a different pick, such a different change. And this time at least they managed to sort of
Bro,
make out the
Vera,
shot
you're
Vera,
crazy, and I
but he's
love
straight
you
in there.
for
He's
it.
got Styron to support him, and you just can't turn the tide here. So it is a weaker round, as we know. Like, you know, can't really kind of put too much to this, but VSG have got the method back in order, and they know what they're doing.
That's the nature of these agents as well, and the players behind them too, right? Where you know that you're going to get aggressive in through ruins. You've got the contingency of making sure that you have that rotating door readily available. You got Vera who can go in, go out. You've got a body behind him in Styron to make sure that the trade's there when the shots are missed, or the shots are even hit in.
Look at that. He gets a shot and then he
These are
runs
the
in with
fast
his
rounds that
shorty.
You can afford to do because of this agent set that you're running. When you're Revenant, you need to kind of use a little bit of this utility early on if you want to sniff out these positions.
So back to the operator for Vera. Obviously, they keep kind of going in and out with the Outlaw on some of these eco rounds, but they know it's a little bit weaker. So where's he going to find an opening? Just trying to take that position once more.
they're trying to-
a little bit slow.
this raises satchel.
Towards the mix for it.
And he whips his up with, oh my god, man.
He got away with that. So it is going to be a spike plant early, but how quick are they going to look for this retake?
The difference when it's just Styron by himself, right? No tandem buddy to help him out. Now in towards the pit. How do you sniff
Jesus.
this one? You've got Styron down. You'd need to honestly send
Wayne
Vera
got
straight
the
into
lurk.
the
That's
pit
actually
sliding and then
huge.
trade him.
Man. And Rossi's been taken out. For
Oh,
absolute
okay, guys,
He's
guys, make a
lurking
play.
back
Let's
towards
make
the
a play.
back
Let's make a play.
Hasn't quite worked out for him.
Let's get weird with
Vera
it.
as
Oh
well.
my god,
They
Vera!
make sure that they keep Sultan alive for as long as possible here, Komodo, because look at how
Rush
quickly
him!
they're moving
Rush
in.
him!
It's going to be Grumble to find another, and now it's just on to the Kazakh boys. DOS9, Sultan, and they do make it work. But it's
No,
all
how do we let that Viper
as
kill
DOS9 comes and
three?
close. Again, these guys, as a duo, they're having so much impact and dragging Revenant through some of these rounds.
A little bit of difficulty when you do sacrifice your HP in towards the pit. The longer you're in there, I mean, it makes it more difficult to take a duel. So a little bit lucky for Revenant when they do manage to get into
we
it
need
and
to
play around
shorty
the pit too,
that.
right? You see the sharp shot
that
from Vero.
omen
You
there.
see him caught in transitioning weaponry, pulling out the sidearm, seeing his opponents get back into the pit. But there's nothing you can really do about it at that point in time either. This is one of the deficit positions that you're going to see with an agent lineup like we're seeing over on Disguised's side. If you want to clear something like a pit, you need your Siren in.
Bro TP'd on top of his TP.
SK Rossi dies without any impact.
You've got to
He's
go.
really struggling on this chamber right now. You've just got to pick this pace up and make that site hit now.
Yeah, and either through door or through breakable towards B, but they're going to choose to go to the alpha site, and they're just
Nice
locked
trade.
in.
Nice
So quick on
kill,
the flanks was
Grumble.
Vera, and now Juicy and Grumble managed to find the equalizers.
Oh yeah, that's the boy Grumble.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's the
Grumble.
boy
No, he
Grumble. We're
understands.
using
He's
strats
got big
today.
fans because he hits big shots. And
I
that's
mean-
huge from DSG as a response.
Recognizing in
We're
that
just-
fight
we're
as
deciding
well
to
that you
use
can
our
push
strats
level
today,
up because
huh?
you've lost the site, dropping
That's a
down
nice
the side
change of
page
pace.
To get the audio cue that there's someone in it, that's what turns his head back towards the focus as well, right? If he doesn't put that there, he's potentially looking back out toward the stairs because his teammate got traded out over there. He doesn't know if he's going to get flanked, so it's just these quick little micro mechanisms that he's able to readily adapt for is what really is a standout Cypher player in my mind that Grumble emphasizes.
We're
He's been
buying an
impactful as
outlaw.
anything. You know, him and Vera are the players we predicted. Whereas
What?
Juicy's been relatively quiet.
Oh,
but
'cause he
because
knows
he
everyone's
hasn't
gonna
been
half
needed
buy on
yet.
the other
They
team.
pick up the pace once more. They head towards B. They're going to be able to find this spike plan again. It's been successful for them.
Bro,
but
we just let them in
really
like
because of
this?
The weaker weaponry.
Well, Juicy's got the showstopper, so we're going to send it all singing. It is the last round of the half, mind you.
Yeah, they may as well make it work, make it go hard, and Juicy does narrowly miss that shot with the showstopper. So the C's does actually catch too, so that makes it
Wayne
really awkward.
is
Sultan
aware,
dropped
man.
by
Your little
That's the second time
lurkiness
Wayne
is
has
not
managed
gonna
to find
work.
the frag in that position now. Vera getting the shot into SK Rossi.
Nice.
To go big here, and with just
We
the
gotta go
Sheriff,
fast,
all
we
you
gotta
can
go
do
fast.
is skills
Yes.
also taking just one.
Tie it up, boys.
So that's
Tie it
now
up.
Done and dusted
Yeah.
for Alive, for Disguised, and they have found their method to bringing this one back.
And that's kind of the downside of an errant decision to just push in towards the B site. When you're on pistols, when you're on stingers, and your opponents don't give you the jewels immediately, right? When they posture themselves for a bit of a retake, for a bit of a flank watch at the moment, Disguised are really easily the gun advantage and the position advantage at that point in time. So I was very surprised when I saw the weapons and when I saw at the beginning of this round Revenant setting up for another B hit, but not having the utility and the space to take the battle against Disguised before they can
halftime.
posture for retake. You're not going to be winning those duels. So 6 to
You know,
6.
halftime.
Pretty
Ooh,
decent
Styron
showing,
is spitting.
actually,
Look at
both
him.
sides on the flip.
Look at his hands.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Because I feel like
coming
the
up with
last two rounds from
strats.
Disguise was so convincing that it should feel like it's like maybe, you know, an 8-4 or a 9-3 half in their favor. Because Revenant got those early few rounds, and it was definitely most of the
halftime
path
means
on the
P
back of some
time.
individual performances. You know, Paradox had a good round, DOS9 had a fantastic round, Sultan also. But Disguise have found a little bit more consistency in the last few, so maybe they've just used the opening few rounds to kind of work out Revenant, and this is where they can potentially put the foot down on the accelerator to try and close out this map as quickly as possible.
Yeah. Just the adaptability from them as well to recognize just in the mix what they need to do against Revenant. You'll highlight back towards their stage 2 gameplay that Lotus was a map that they were, you know, relatively successful on, but they had the worst defensive performance on any single map in their pool, right? Defense Lotus, no go, have to fix it. And that is what I feel like they've been able to do with the addition of Big Time coming into this roster, by the way. He has such great brilliance on the macro strategy, on how he needs to position his team. And I think that looking at this team, you know, they've been able to really fix it for Revenant's side with him. But now you've got who I'm highlighting actually with the bad defensive side in Disguised, right? They themselves in this game, Vera, Juicy,
Another tech
changing
pause.
up positions time and time again on the duelists. I think Alex has done a phenomenal job with them to just sit down with the boys, figure out exactly what our strengths are, what our weaknesses are to get back into it. And I'm looking at this and I'm just having a kind of a think about it. From what we've seen so far in the course of this tournament,
Chip.
I think Disguised have realized
Chip,
early
scratchy
on
stitch.
more so than Revenant have on where to fix weaknesses.
Name of
So the fact that
animals.
they've already done it, you know, within the first half of the first map in this best of three.
Chip, Scratchy, Rocky. Name of animals.
I like that. So there's a quick tech pause. Someone's out of a seat.
Rugged
Shouldn't be too far
South.
away, we would assume.
Amusement.
But yeah, man, I don't know. This is another game where it's elimination station, right? You know, one of these teams won't be making their way in, won't be getting all the way through to that next stage of competition. And I think there's obviously going to be a lot of eyes again on all
Not
these teams,
smooth
especially
as
the ones
terrain.
who make it to the arena, whether or not it's to, you know, make their way towards ascending or getting picked up into tier 1 exclusively outside of that into the next season. You know, there's so many question marks into this off season, what it's going to look like for so many of these players individually.
I mean, the biggest thing first, the biggest hurdle I feel like that these two teams are going to be seeing themselves is you have to first best the third to fourth place finisher of last year's Ascension and Boom, right? Again, you know, they were kind of really exposed against Simpresa early on, but I think you're going to have a bit of a settle down and a massive talk in how to get back into it, because locally in Indonesia, Boom's not lost the final land, so this could be the upset to the winner of this series to best that big old hurdle to then get into that arena.
Boom's such a funny team as well. Hey, you know, they had that absolute stomp, obviously, straight out the rip, but then they kind of got pushed back really hard straight away into the next series. So, I don't know, they're up and down, and that's why I kind of lean back onto this narrative, which you picked from the very start, Komodo, is that Sinpresa are the team that have been looking the strongest,
starting up
tried
again.
and tested throughout the course of this competition so far. They're the only team that hasn't really shown a level of weakness, and it's crazy because during that time, they were pushed to overtime and a very strong 13-9 by Riddle, who we just saw beat Naus.
Well, now we've got the switch up of the sides disguised onto the attack, which is one of their stronger sides.
Oh,
So
God,
that's why
wait,
I'm
they're
kind of
holding
interested to see more
3C
importantly how
though.
movement are going to adjust specifically when you've got Rossi on a chamber as well, because he
Chill,
needs to
chill,
get a lot of
chill,
action.
chill,
He needs to
chill,
get a lot of
chill,
kills
chill,
and get
chill.
out there to really be some strength on this Revenant side.
I need you, SK Rossi, the one true hope of South Asia.
Okay. He only... Jesus,
They've
there's
managed
another
to get
one?
away. Tagged up, which does help a little bit.
All good,
Plus
all good,
9
all good.
Can only go 1 for 1.
And that's going to be the door opening, so
One
Disguise
for
don't
one,
need to
one
stick
for one.
around, Bait out a bunch of this utility. Look to renegotiate.
But that's
back
one of
towards
our
B
better
unity.
players though,
Trademark
Farah.
is at the front to get a little bit
Maybe
of
we
information
just
on the walls
walk
now.
into B because there's no one
I'm a
there.
bit
They're gonna
surprised
group
as
up.
well. I'm a
Why
bit
don't they
surprised that there's
just
no space
simply
that's
walk
actually
into
being
B?
now gathered
There's
over
no
a couple
bad
of
guys
times
there.
all in the time.
Just how much do they try and overwhelm? How much do they try and throw back here? They're obviously going to let the spike get planted. And Rossi will be able to have the rendezvous up in just a second. So
Where are we playing
Hold
from
on.
though?
waiting for the time.
Nice, Master Wayne.
But he does miss the shot. Yeah, that's rough. Wayne has found him, so the advantage continues to
Blinding.
Wayne.
Oh,
Disguise.
one heaven, one
Gonna
heaven.
Put the foot down now.
Man's just
Trying to get
walking
this offense
out?
going.
What?
Assault looking the wrong way, man.
Wait,
That is all
man's
causing
just
a
walking
for
out?
Revenant. Disguise walking away
That
with
Viper
an easy
is
7. Didn't feel like there was
bold.
much pressure from Revenant there at all.
No, and I think that comes down to their retake positions as well, right? When you've got two coming up from heaven, one coming up from spawn, and one coming through rotating door, you are really needing to just isolate a pick. And you know that this guys aren't going to give that to you, right? They're going to swing together as a unit. It's exactly what they did out through Breakable on the site. You have a little bit of a safety net as well from Grumble, just tucking himself at the back of Ruins here. So really well done from Disguised when they realize that they're getting a little bit overwhelmed at Mound. Just to reset, pull us back, wait for the toxic screen to go down. And now they have a
Oh, we
little
go
big advantage
fast.
onto this
We
attacking
go
side to start.
fast and hard.
Such a big pivotal moment, right? You know, I think it's potentially a thing of where Disguise, if they can't get a couple of, Revenant can't get a couple of rounds, Disguise may really start to run away from it, you know, almost leaning towards the 13-6.
Oh, yeah. We get their attention with some gunfire. Pew, 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 bang, 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 bang. Make them think we're at
Yeah, and on those
A.
gun rounds, I think for SK Rossi as well, how
Why
much
is
of
he
a
staring at
premium
the
do you
Omen?
actually put on being able to rendezvous out, right? Because if you're the one that isn't going for these flanking plays, then who is?
Guys, there's like 2,000 people on this side.
Straight in, putting the feet down, and Vera will be able to open one. He just traded out very nicely.
Keep shooting, keep shooting. Don't stop shooting.
Can he find the timing here?
Guys.
This is going to be fantastic. Paradox does get one back, but they're overlooking it.
Jesus.
That's really, really
Wait, we
nasty.
lost a lot of people. Wait,
SK
this is still
Rossi not
losable.
exactly in a position to
Wait,
potentially
SK
win it out.
Rossi the
He had
GOAT?
many shots in the headhunter, just 3. So they're going to have to try and creep on in. They do bait out the shot. Juicy won't be looking at this just yet. Of course, Breakable on the trip. Cruising in. They're both watching the exact same time. Bullet damage is enough there. Rossi.
He needs to guard
Only
him.
one in the chamber. He does. But he's instead just going to go in potentially with the classic here. This is just so rough. The cam's still there. He's just getting baited out in every single which way. The synergy that...
Oh.
Okay. Final shot.
Oh, I'm gonna be honest, SK Rossi, you had me sweating. You had me sweating.
Disguised. They're just too good.
Yeah, I mean, talk about to the nth degree.
Wait, honestly, losing for guns there was not
ideal.
ideal.
Back sight and you spot 3 players that are there, it gets a little bit sticky for you to get those trades out. But in the 2 versus 1, I'm thinking to myself, SK Rossi, you want to try and win this one. Is the classic and the headhunter with the single shot going to be able to do it? Yeah, the answer is no at the end, but I think you're still pretty okay with how you've navigated that round as Revenant, right? 4 kills, of course, is going to make this round an excruciatingly weak one for Disguise. The single gun should be the investment for them. They're going to get a couple of extras because they know themselves.
No, we're just always running it.
They get rubble control pretty easy.
Guys, it's one way. It's one way.
Getting the extremities of this map around that neon, right?
No.
Especially with the
It ain't
rising
worth
toe.
it.
They've just got so much versatility.
Make
And
them
when you've got
watch,
Sultan
Rob.
from the same
Yeah,
wall
make him
down
watch.
time and time again,
What?
Not changing it up, you can kind of
Huh?
afford to give
Wait,
up
this
that
guy's
rubble control 'cause
hacking.
They're not really disrespecting it so far.
He shot us through a wall.
Paradox finding a good opening shot at the very least to take down Juicy. That gives him the advantage.
My boy Juicy sleeping. Someone need to
You are
where's
pretty
their alarm? So
steadfast
he
in
needs to
where
wake
you're
up.
Positioned around the map as Revenant too, right? 2 players to C, one just playing gatekeeper over at B as skills there, and the other 2 over at Tree, just refreshing between this wall and the one way.
Now they look to creep on in. They're going to all swing
Oh,
around
we
the
saw
exact same
him. We
position.
saw
Paradox is in front of
you.
stairs. Vera putting the
We
foot
saw
down.
you.
Nicely
One more,
done.
one
The
more.
second
There's
was
another guy in
almost
there.
close nine. At least he's got a bit more space to get 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, he's got all the space in the world, and he's taking
Guys.
it into his own.
Guys, what
I
the
have
hell,
to
man?
say, the individual performance from
What the
Dog
hell?
Man, I think, is one of the best in this whole damn tournament, and it's not just
Yo, let's
reflected
go where that
in
Omen
the
is in. He's
kills,
kinda
in
scary.
the ratings and everything, right? It's just the position.
These Indian players are built different.
Team without the team, and then individually, even if his team dies, he's still coming back, multi-fragging up, having an impact on the rounds that they're still losing. It's just absolutely sensational from him. For the biggest tournament of his career so far, by the way, for a chance to get to an arena too. Insane.
Just how you connect those shots, you know, is such a big testament. Holding the spray, it's not exactly an easy feat there.
Yeah. I like killing my
Paradox,
opponents without
getting
seeing
that
them.
Satchel, giving the quick bounce, definitely got it started. But this time round, it'll be Paradox bested. Juicy goes ahead.
Yeah, we'll speak about the flip of what DOS9's been doing, right? Getting all the kills. Juicy, really absent in a lot of these engagements, so it's great to see that he's able to open one up in a round 4 Disguised. Meanwhile,
Just
again,
haven't
you
needed
don't
him
have, yeah, you don't have mound control again once more for Revenant though, and you've got a bit of a catch for Grumble with the camera still over there.
Good early use of the neural theft as well to get that info. Vera
Damn,
is going to be
Vera
making
just
moves.
runs.
Taken down. DOS9 has so much
Nice
work
trade.
to do here. He will manage to get one. But look at
4v2,
how
play
well
it
they
smart.
played this time.
Let it
They
simmer,
know
let
the
it
individual nature. He
swim.
was able to get that one before
Marinated,
in the
bake it
previous. But
in.
now, when he's down, he was traded so effectively. It's
Some
on the SK Rossi and
low
Salt to see what they can do in the
temperature
2v4.
heat.
You
Oh,
gotta
it's
save it.
saving?
You gotta save here. You've got weapons to go in with.
Y'all
a pretty strong
saving?
buy in the next rounds. Yes, you might
Economy
wanna try
not
and
looking
impact
so
the
good.
economy of Disguise
Stock
to
market
relatively
crash,
low,
gotta
but 2 versus
save.
4 without any real smokes toward the side as well. Because what is that toxic screen going to do in this scenario? Nothing. So you'll cut your losses here. You'll give this one over towards Disguise, and you'll go again with a strong round to try and keep them in check.
Close game.
So you've said that the Sultan has basically been throwing the same screen every round, right?
Yep.
No questions, no changes. And that's the thing, you know, the lack of versatility with this agent composition.
Well, that's it, right? Because when you're on the attacking side, usually you're doing the one that cuts through rubble and A side to get a little bit of this early rubble control, to then flex up and down, to sneak up and do it. When you're on this defensive side, this is generally the wall that Revenant will be playing with, because they've got the one ways that DOS9 throws out handedly, because they know that they're putting the Poison Cloud over to C when they need to as well. They're retaking C. There is a massive reliance actually on keeping him alive for a lot of these rounds. That's why you generally don't see Sultan overextend for a lot of these duels.
Interesting thoughts. And again, you know, why it sort of leans to a little bit of a weird one when you're not adapting and kind of changing up those agent compositions to what is sort of modern day. It can, you know, even when you've got individuals performing, you can still get caught lacking.
Yeah. I mean, you just look at this again, more rubble control for Disguise, uncontested pretty much. Yeah, you've got two members over at the breakable door and a bit of a crunch to come a little bit late, but they're already managing to escape and you're not getting rubble mound control at the same time.
Yeah, look at how quick they're trying to go back into this because they already did burn the paranoia. On
Wait, the
one side. Now they're trying to
blind
get straight to the
wasn't
break,
there
but
yet,
still
guys.
get
Don't.
one.
Oh
The
my
start
god.
from
Oh my
Trey.
god.
SK
There.
Rossi has to get a bit of a wriggle on here. Sultan's going to be able to drop Vera, which is huge. But now
Wait,
putting
this
out
Sultan
that
guy
Sultan
is
does catch
crazy.
Sultan, catches first, and Rossi also able to pick up Grumble. So all in a star in 1 versus 2. He is in position, has the spike in tow, but he's in such an awkward one in B upper.
No, Sarah, why are you getting your gun out?
Finally showing up to the show and getting a couple of frags to bring the team forward. Revenant getting
Styron!
Because
Styron!
Disguise aren't going to the C site, right? And I cannot blame them. The amount of times that you're getting free rubble control, now you finally see a contest, but you already have a backup strategy to just overwhelm in towards B. A little bit unfortunate for them that the wall comes up for some toxins at the nick of time, and then you got the flood in, you got the numbers kept at bay, you got the numbers kept in check from Revenant, who in the end, the 1 versus 2s take the timing to find it. So well placed for Revenant, and that's on the back of that save in the previous one, right? If they went for it and lost the guns, definitely would have been a different story, I feel.
And they're going for it straight away again, right? They've completely changed up the position. And we've narrowly missed it. Paradox does get caught, does get the info. Grumble
Yeah, you guys aren't
dodges
beating.
and
You guys aren't
weaves,
beating
ducks,
Grumble. Oh, they
ducks,
beat Grumble.
dives, dips, dodges. You know how it goes. You guys have seen the movie.
Yeah, but now the problem is you've lost the site. These guys have a player advantage. They have a free plant to their heart's content. And Styron has managed to get the Nightfall on the back of it.
Really awkward. Again, you know, they shifted up a little bit, but they know that Disguise has just continued to take the C A control towards Mound and Rubble. But anyway, we'll see how we go. Can they bring it back in on the 4v3?
Man, this Sultan guy still gets
Portrays
one
out.
there.
Not bad so far, but again, Disguise still holding together as a unit on the site, group in numbers. I'm just looking at it as well. The time is ticking away, and I think Revenant just need to seal the deal on this one and save it yet again. And I was objectively looking at it too, Mitch. You've got a Chamber, a Viper, and an Omen to try and get a retake happening in towards the A site. You really don't have any way to clear any corners with any amount of utility or any amount of haste to get in that sort of scenario. So that is kind of the worst 3 alive you want in that scenario for a retake.
Well, only having the single, you know, the single flash off the paranoia, right? It makes it so tough to kind of defend, and the amount of times they've actually used it through Tree from DOS9 to try and just force them away has just been nuts to witness. So
yeah,
I don't know, they're just baiting out the utility so well disguised, and it just feels like it's such a more one-sided map than it is right now.
I mean, there's a reason when you look at DRX who play this comp for Revenant that you're trying to set up buzz for a lot of these duels on both our offense and both the defensive side, right? You really want to get the player advantages, which is why you're seeing combinations of either seize nades or flash nades, or you're getting peeks in from Foxy9, for example, getting get out. We're not seeing that much from Rossi because, well, the guys just aren't generally going C, but when they are, he's not winning them.
Oh no!
Exactly
SK Rossi! At some point, you just start feeling bad.
You need that here.
And Sultan's just, you know, sitting
Yeah, be
back,
nice.
pop the poison
Okay.
card, like he can't do anything to support, as he mentioned. So now the utility.
He did
is
a
gonna
lot
start
for
to come out,
Valorant
get
in
that
the early
information.
days.
The Haunt at the back of the side as well.
You put some
Vera's
respect
already
on
in
his name.
position. Sultan has to try and find this opening frag, but he's up
It's hard to
so
keep up with these
close that
zoomers
it's going to be a
sometimes, you
tough
know?
one with the C's. Juicy gets one. Skills already, though, on the response. Sultan turns. It's going to be such an awkward bit of timing. Vera somehow still alive, and in amongst all of this chaos,
What is happening right now?
3 as the spike's now planted.
Can't believe that Revenant have managed to get this back to the 3-on-3. No plant down yet, but they start to flood through the gates. Paradox actually has 2 satchels as well to dance around the site, but the silence, the creep up, tandem plays the back of the site.
Oh man, they're just absolutely baiting everything in, and once again it goes onto the reliability of Sultan to try and find it. Paradox now has to try continue forward. The satchels go out. Vera so low. But it's
Oh my god, guys, what are we doing, man?
Like, this is exactly what we're saying. SK Rossi out in an island, dies first, 4v5, but somehow there was just enough utility to keep them alive long enough that Revenant win that round? I'm confused, I'm lost.
Vera as well, I can feel how hesitant he was to go in through that dark cover over at spawn, because he knows at that point in time from the neural theft that if he goes there against the isolated player, that could potentially be the round for his team to focus over at Waterfall. But you don't want to just go into the smoke, lose your head, and that is the round there and then. So they tried to play it by the numbers off the back of the util as well. And
a lot of these rounds we should be winning.
So it's
We're
hard
nervous.
Mitch. very good timing for them as well, because this is where the economy and the ebb and flow actually starts to more shift towards their opponents in Revenant.
Man, I don't know. So much to ponder right now.
We always run out of time.
This pause to work it out.
We're bad at
I
making
think it's more about
decisions and
keeping a
just
little bit of extra momentum
executing on it.
because they have been able to get all of
We
this
get
control
kind
for
of
free,
caught
but
in
it
the
just depends on
middle,
what they wanna
being
choose to do with
hesitant.
it in the end, Komodo, right? You know, they can get all the control of the map if they want, but if they're going to hesitate once they're actually going out to that site take, it's all for naught, really.
Yeah, I mean, we've actually seen Revenant finally contest a couple of positions around the map, right? We've seen a little bit of this later rebel control from them. We've seen it at an attempt over at Mound. Yes, it's squandered. But apart from that, is that all that Revenant have for us so far, right? On the back of this timeout, if you've had your coaches just watching how you guys are playing,
Juicy
where you
smelling
guys are
drugs
dying
now
around
too?
the map,
Okay,
is it
now
right
we're even.
just recognizing on the fact that we keep getting this A-Rubble control, and what are the pieces of utility that we're seeing them utilize when they go to retake control? Well, it's the toxic screen up, it drops, and if there's a smoke, a one-way over a door, well, you know, they're more heavily lent over towards the A site, because 9 times out of 10, those are the same positions that we're seeing from DOS9 and from Sultan on the back when that util's there. So I'm looking towards the radar
Ooh, we
right
have
now,
to
and
eco buy
what am
here.
I seeing? The 2-1-2, where
Wait.
you're going to have a peek out from
Juicy's
SK
full
Rossi,
buy.
and you're not going to have any control bar the grenades that go over towards Rubble.
What was that? What was that warning shot?
He does fire a shot, so they've got the information that the operator is in.
Ooh, Grumble
Rumble
gets
finds
one.
DOS9, and that's such a big frag to be
Ooh.
found. Paradox at least able to respond with
Paradox
one, but
and
then
DOS9
that's the
down.
shot that's open, taken for free. I
Two
mean,
pretty
still
big
is in
deals.
position, but this is very much an island as well for him to be sitting at.
And if you're playing by the numbers right now as well, you're either putting your Boomba or you're putting your Prowler to clear skills out. You're not overlooking this to give him a chance to get back in.
No, SK Rossi gets a
finally hit the
kill.
shot though, taking down Juicy. That could be absolutely huge.
No,
They don't
guys!
They don't clear it. You're right. And now
We
it's a
never
nightfall.
clear.
This could very well be a 10th round here for Revenant unless
We
we see something
never
big from Vera,
clear,
and he's
Master
taken down those
Wayne.
kills. All onto Wayne in a 1 versus 3. I can't help but think that Disguise have kind of given up the goat on the round here.
Well, we'll see, because Wayne in a 1 versus 3, dark cover eventually, but a Paranoia 2. There's
That's the first. Can he hold on? Blinds him up, gets the shrouded step out. The repositioning is great, but I think his shoulder actually might have been spotted there. SK Rossi is going to try and go through, is going to get that headhunter out.
No, Wayne.
Oh, man.
Nice
Thank
try.
You, SK Rossi. The reliability is back in a little bit now. The tour de force is secured for later if he needs it.
Dude, we are not
That's the
converting
round
on numbers
recovered.
advantage.
Revenant tie up the scoreline 10-10. This game has been so strange.
I mean, you have to consider, if the breakable door is gone, and yeah, you're killing people, that the position is still dirty if you yourself have not checked it. Yes, I understand that SK Rossi gets on the line when the smoke fades. Okay, you can't kind of counter that if you're already in the open, sure. But you have to be layering your protocols at least to clear corners if you've not cleared them when you've got the utility. Because if you're not doing your first steps, you're not going to be able to get into the site with the necessary required items that you need. And in that scenario, when you have lesser weaponry as disguised, you need to be making sure that you're not getting immediately dispatched off before you even get in there.
Oh, tagged up a little bit, Vera. But again, it's the same level of control. They get out to Rubble, with the rest of the teams going back towards C.
Oh, did he just get spotted out or not? There was a ping on the radar. I think Sultan's seen it, but it doesn't even matter.
Oh, man. Wayne finding another.
Oh
again.
my god, I love kill. Okay, guys, convert on a numbers advantage for the love of Jesus, Mary, and Joseph.
Free plans as well.
What are we doing?
Really big here. At least
Why are you just standing out there, Mr. Wayne?
A little bit too easy. Does have the C's, does have the Prowler in hand.
You gotta wait for DOS9 though. He's got your smokes, he's got your flash. By what time you can, set all your util in.
Gonna pop the ultimate there as well. The showstopper for Juicy. All it needs to do is just be a deterrent for this point in time, right? It doesn't need to go off straight away.
Yeah.
He's gonna drop it, doesn't connect.
Big
But
damage.
in this time, it's done well to just find a little bit of extra control. Now DOS9 comes in, but Styron will trade, and I
Okay,
don't
get
think
out, get
Skills
out,
has got
get
what
out,
it takes
get
to
out.
take
We
this
take
one
it,
out.
we take it, we
They're
take it,
running
we
away
take
again.
it.
This is the third time we're seeing a save, and I don't even know if he's going to be able to get far away enough with this operator. Okay, I think he will just now, but oh man. It was a slow retake, but it was just those opening picks again. You know, how Wayne was able to split the wickets and find them. It's just insanity.
Well, he was spotted out after the From the Shadows was used, but the fact that he's just able to double down on towards SK Rossi, that's where it becomes extremely, you know, problematic, right? You got the 3 versus 5 onto the site. you start to get a kill
Are
in
they
or two
saving
from
for
skills.
last?
He tanks the showstopper, but by that point in time,
Saving
he's just
for
got
last,
locations
huh?
already solidified for Disguised.
It's going to be an interesting buy now as well because they've got the tour de force for Rossi and the operator for DOS9.
Double up.
I like it though. A bit of a different look to what you're deploying over at your A-Rubble attempted control. At the moment though, it's a bit of a funny one from Vera too. Dash in, open the door, force them back, and it actually brings SK Rossi's ultimate out as well.
Look at how quickly Juicy's in there. He's already pulled out the shot from the tour de force and back up in uppers. He
Get
can't
the
really
plant
do anything
early, get
here
the plant
now.
early.
Completely locked out. Revenant once again disguised.
And they're
Gonna get
making
that
sure
spike planted.
that you dot and I's, cross and T's over towards. a
Okay,
vulnerable
Juicy just
position
needs
by
to
Double
hold this.
Door in
He's got a
scenario
fucking
as well.
judge.
Gonna have to go in as a team, in as a unit. They're clearing out absolutely everything here.
Hold every fucking line.
Door now broken. Up into uppers. Rossi hits one. Is he going to be able to connect on the
What
second?
a-
He will. It's going to be a third though.
How
for
did
Revenant
we
now.
lose this?
3 versus 2. DOS9 actually connecting with a shot as well. It's all on Navera, who has got the absolute flank of the century.
How
He tries
did
to
we
go in.
lose?
He's
We
not.
had a
Jeez.
judge.
Oh man. The high gear
I
doesn't quite
cannot
work out for him. The
believe we
slide is
lost
not going to be
Breakable
successful.
with
And in
a
round where
judge.
The economy was weaker. It was just a saved operator, a stinger, and a tour de force. And Revenant take it to 11.
I mean, tour de force at the end of the day is just a point and shoot adventure.
What a
for SK Rossi.
blunder.
The only deficit being that slow field, which I thought might actually get the better of them when they try to flood in towards the site. But then I realized exactly where old mate, our friend in Vera, was coming from. And
Great
I mean,
shot.
yeah, brilliant shot. But also Vera had his knife out when he went for the slide. So I don't think you're
Yeah.
killing someone at that distance with a knife, buddy.
Nah, absolutely. And then they actually call for the timeout. It will be the final one utilized by Revenant. There's been plenty of these to come through during the game. Because this is kind of like all out now for Disguised, right? They lose this round. They go to 12, obviously, as we know. But the buy for the last is going to be so weak.
Yeah. You're looking again, right? A couple of really late resurgence plays from Revenant, changing their positions and where they want to focus their arsenal, right? Mainly it's over towards the A side of things still, but there's some adjustments to still tends towards B as well. Fall back where you need to, because I think a couple of these retakes have actually been, extremely close for Revenant. Where they needed to pick up the slack was just having an extra player or two alive before that retake actually happens, and then they have those pieces to flood on in. So the fact that this time they do get overwhelmed by that door opening, they do decide to fall on back. I mentioned it, right? Breakable door is going to be a really key position for Disguise to hold in that scenario, and it's exactly why, because they lose that one, then they start to get crunched in by the multiple angles that Revenant are mounting that retake from. It's pretty, simple when you think about it, but they hold Breakable there, they win the round.
Can't believe we've ended up here. 11 to 11. Make a wish. I'm sure plenty of Rossi fans will be hoping it's a win for Revenant, but I'm sure chat will also be hoping for a win for Disguised. Because again, it just feels like Disguised have been in the lead for this game, but they haven't. It's tied.
Yeah. Out of every player on your roster as well for Disguise, it's going to be Grumble down towards the
We gotta
Sheriff.
smoke
We'll see
that,
what
we gotta
happens
smoke
in the
that.
middle stages of this round, where you've already managed to push
Go
SK
fast, come
Rossi
on.
back.
Guys,
This is a
always with the
different look
poking and the
for
prodding.
Revenant as well. This time both controller players over towards C, rid of action, up through the guts and mid from skills with rotations now towards the alpha site. So what was I just mentioning, Mitch, for a retake?
Nice, Vera.
What do they
Oh,
have? Well,
man.
they had the numbers.
Jeez, what a shot. Now the Nightfall to come on through to try and gather some information on the flank, and they'll get it. That'll be 2 pings. Now they have to just
Guys,
hold on
play
for
smart
win.
this time, please.
DOS9 just left C.
Clearly not getting that info, not getting that call. Might not have heard it, might not have had the audio cue with the Nightfall, right? So running around, trying to clear. Vera just keeping them entertained and occupied at this position. They are going to flood through now.
Nice,
Paradox
Wayne.
is getting
Shot him out of the sky.
Is potentially looking for a double, but it's Vera to get another shot. Wayne secures as well.
Not- oh, Vera, that was a- Yo, don't let this guy run, though. He got some. He's got the goods. He's got the goods. Nice.
He's going to be looking for a finale. Doesn't quite get it himself, but Wayne does. And DSG take themselves to map point.
Yeah, DOS9 just jumping down into drop there as well. Footsteps very audible.
Yeah,
when
they
he
have no
lands
ult
for the
besides
kill to be
Omen.
collected. But I gotta say,
Two of them
You know,
can
I
buy.
like the idea of Revenant falling back when the forces do get overwhelmed. When you only have one player in SK Rossi leaning towards the A site, you don't want to take the 1 versus 5 scenario for that sort of sake, right? So falling back is wise, but then just getting his head absolutely removed. Same can be said for when that rocket comes up from
So
Paradox,
Judge and
swatted out of the
Bulldog.
sky. A couple of really sharp shots from Disguise put them onto map point now. And it's either overtime or it's map 1 victory for Disguise, and Vera wants to...
Oh my god, that was close.
Yeah, he wants to wrap it up.
Get the plant now. Get the plant now. Full clear. Full clear. Get the plant.
In the world, does he?
Get the plant,
Straight
Sarah!
on through, trying to get all the control possible. Rossi's going to judge for this retake, man. It's going to be again onto Sultan and DOS9 to see what they can do.
Yep, on the shadows in for DOS9. Or rather, from Wayne, actually, to see how many players are rotating in through the back of spawn. I don't think DOS9's going to be afforded to use his ult here.
No, not at all. Just gathering that info. The Prowler
Hit him
goes
with the
out to try and
one-way.
take some control back, but once again, it's that one-way smoke onto the stairs.
What are
It's
these guys
so
doing?
awkward, so
Are you guys
uncomfortable.
going from
Everyone's
heaven
running
or
out
the
of time to
one-way?
use Yuno. It's going to be such a tricky one to get back in. Sultan just has to sit pretty for as long as possible. Vera does get taken down by Rossi, but again,
Oh my
the time is
God.
ticking. Rossi with 2, but traded out. Grumble finding more. Grumble finding more, Komodo. 1 versus 2. Does have the neural theft to come out, but do they even have enough time here? They do. It's going to go to overtime, and they are feeling the pain in that one disguised.
I cannot
Yeah,
believe
absolutely.
that.
Had to be
I
extremely
cannot
close on
believe that.
time
I
at the end of
cannot
that
believe
one.
we constantly find ways to
Unfortunately, we
throw.
don't get to really see it,
We've
but
thrown
what,
about
5
5
versus 4,
man advantages
retakes
this
going into
game.
that one for Revenant, and you just see the patience from Disguise. Nobody
Like, it's actually
kinda
crazy.
overstepped in that scenario, right? Vera was down a low HP actually at drop, and the matter of fact that SK Rossi on 23 HP manages to get that kill. They start to peel together some of these advantages, and then it just crumbles for DSG because they're losing these members that didn't necessarily need to go for the fights. When you don't have that rotating door open, you don't really need to go for a fight fully in tree if you've got someone looking towards drop, someone sitting on the side on the spike. Like, that's a really rough position that Disguise kind of gave up a bit there.
That was game 1. Like, no question about it. Like, it
We
should have been
always
GG.
throw
We
man
should have been talking about
advantages.
Post game, but Disguise have let that one slip, and they're going to be feeling it. So
Like, our
Revenant, they
post
can
plant,
try
like,
and take this
we can
opportunity
get
to
on
close out
site
overtime
very
now.
well, but our post plant is actual garbage.
Absolutely. And on the back of your first offensive round in overtime, Vera's brought out the
Well,
operator.
just-
to
when
lock
you-
down the
like,
A site
we need to
by
figure that
himself.
out,
A very
man.
Strong lean from Disguised over towards
We
B.
really need to figure that out.
Immediate clearing util as well, pushing them back. So little by little, you start to piece something together for Revenant with space around the map, while still maintaining flank watch as well for yourselves.
They've got to be so careful they don't give it all up to Vera here. Obviously, they've got the toxic screen, as you mentioned, to kind of try and find some space, but that guy's going to be quick, and he's been fragging all game.
Yeah, you're baiting out a lot of this utility nice and early on to remove it from later info gathering, from later retake potentials too. I was going to say, if you could bait out those paint shells...
Time's
there,
running out for
you'd
them.
Make a potential retake
45
scenario all the
seconds
more
at this
easier.
point. If they go into Vera.
Just going to have to cut sound.
Yeah.
40 seconds
40
left.
seconds, this
Let's see
is
if
gonna
there's
be
any
tight.
more response here from Disguised.
The biggest thing at the moment is I don't
We got
believe
2 on
Vera
C.
has
It's
revealed the
Wayne and
operator in
Grumble.
play
They're
at the
pretty
moment. So
solid.
while Skills snuck in towards Rubble, he has to shift into a really delayed fake and retake, or potentially even a flank, because we still do hit C.
Didn't even go for the shot there either, so it's Paradox straight over the trip. Wayne is going to be able to find the first. Is he going to continue here? He's been looking so good in this map.
Oh,
He's got a
no.
third.
That's
Straight
right,
into the
Master
crowd. How
Wade.
can he keep
Gotham
going with his
City
Grumble
is
to the
saved
and this
once
is what we should have
again.
seen in the
Yeah,
previous.
that.
This is
By the way,
how
all
it
those
should be
those 5
finished.
kills, 2
Onto that
guys.
24th round.
Grumble and Wayne.
But now Disguise
They're my
have a
rocks.
much cleaner start.
They
Now
hold
Revenant
down
couldn't find their
sides.
footing in
The
towards
iron
side take,
wall of
and Disguise take the
Singapore.
lead and take it back to map point.
Well, what's one of the things that I said could upend Revenant, right? It's the time. It's always the 6th man on their opponent's team, because they do leave a lot of these rounds to the wire. And the fact that they didn't break any of this Cypher utility over at C, the fact that they didn't push Vera off the operator line over at A, you're getting the idea that...
Okay,
it is
we just
be
need to
down
figure out this
20
post-plant
second,
situation,
execute
guys.
attempt here, and then you can just play around the site as Disguised. So really, that round was read in by them too early for Revenant.
Ooh, Vera got
They
a
have
pick.
to figure it out early, Mitch, and now Vera attack operator on the neon.
I'm shaking my head like an attacker-sided operator, and Paradox still peeks into it. Anyway, hindsight's 2020 and such, but that's crazy. The fact that Vera's actually going for
Wait,
this instead
this gives us
is
information.
a bit of a sight to behold, and it's working out for them so far.
Yeah.
We know there's a
Now
guy
Dust9
with an
is
OD
right
in here.
himself. Scare tactics
Actually, he
with
swapped
Odin,
guns. I wonder if we
damage
would
can
think
be
there's two
delivered, but
people.
you've got
Oh,
to
I
go
heard
for
an
a
Odin and a
conversion.
Vandal.
You can't just fall away and go for another 4v5 retake.
How are they going to make this work? Revenant have to try and fall away, as you mentioned. The Haunt's not going to catch anything. The Dark Cover's not going to do much.
Post
Clear out drop.
plant.
Spike looking to be planted for Styron, but he pops off for the time being. He's just going to wait for it for a second. DOS9 trying to spot out from the high heavens. Prowler gets some info. Paranoia. It's going to be a very quick retake, but Grumble
Plant, guys.
gets one. So does SK Rossi. Back into a 3-on-3 here, Komodo somehow.
Yeah, plant is down as well, and they have given over that Odin for the spam in the tree if they want to.
Bro,
But no,
Styron, that's
Gathers
such
in
a bad
defense. Revenant
position.
Absolutely. How have they brought this back? It's all going to be onto Wayne and Juicy. Juicy does bring it into a 2-on-2, but Rossi can get into position, looking to go and get this half tap. Skills takes him down, and now it's all left onto Wayne. Can Wayne continue forward? SK Rossi still holding. Has he been able to...
What are we doing? Why are we shooting it? Why are we shooting it?
And that is a retake that again should have never gone away.
What are we doing? Man advantage, guys.
Yeah, that's a extremely strange one for Disguise, where they look to get the plant and they don't really do anything on the back of that. Running into
Like,
towards these open
like, did our
angles
coach
where the
teach
Spike
our
is playing
team
over
anything
towards
about
three, you've got
post
the wallbang
plant?
ability to come through from the Odin that's literally been gifted to you by your opponents, and you've
Like,
got a
what
lot
the
of
fuck
maturity
are you
that can still
teaching
be
these
played for
kids?
stalling as well. That's a couple of ill-timed decisions from Disguise.
It's just
where,
constant losing
funnily enough,
3v5,
if you're playing any
3v5,
other team that isn't
3v5.
Revenant that really sets themselves up for that slow retake, you probably are winning in those timing positions as Disguise. But the fact that Revenant just kind of delay it, waltz in really late, does get the better of Disguise.
What are you guys
Having a full
doing?
conversation
With
right
Styron,
now. You
why are
can
you
see how
on site
in-depth these conversations are
alone?
occurring. Like
Stuck in a
second
corner
overtime,
where someone
ready
can
to
just
come
wide
through.
walk
We've already
you.
seen a fair bit of a hand here. You know, Vera's tried up some different things, obviously pulling out that operator. SK Rossi has very much been activated again. You know, one of the most experienced players inside this competition right now with his Tier 1 experience, Tier 1 history, you know, a long time playing Valorant. And yeah, man, I don't know. It's just been such a weird back and forth where I feel like Disguised are making many of their own errors, and they need to try and work that out. They need to try and isolate these positions and just close it together as a group, not as a bunch of individuals.
I wouldn't be surprised if Revenant have the best player deficit conversion rate on the back of this map. There has been so many times that they've lost an opening kill, specifically going in towards these retakes, and they've managed to just crawl them back, being behind. It's
Holy
absolutely
shit,
ridiculous.
man!
There
I'm
shouldn't be
actually getting
something
upset with
statistically
how many rounds we
that is a
throw with
possibility.
man
If you've got a
advantage.
numbers game and a post-lane
It
scenario,
makes zero fucking
they
sense.
tend towards you.
Vera's getting himself really low in this decay as well for the time being, just trying to hold that similar line. It's been a very staple wall to be thrown out by Sultan, trying to get that clear. He gets the opening. That's pretty big, but traded by Styron. And now it's just going to be that rubble control, and where are they going to take this?
Yeah. Vera did spot a couple of numbers out through Bruce as well, so the rotation had already been started, but now you post yourself up on the correct line, you see if you can get one and get out, because the Prowler is sniffing
Oh,
you through,
straight
and
in
you're
there.
actually
Look how
overwhelmed by
quick.
Paradox.
Yeah, absolutely. Paradox is all up into his grill right now, Komodo. That's a spot that you weren't expecting. You know, Vera's been so impactful, but swapping onto this operator makes it so much more preciousome. Now Grumble destroys the ball, tries to sit away, and Wayne though, oh man, he's dropped the spike. What an impactful position, but he's traded out by Paradox, and now it's left all on the Grumble. 1 versus 2. Showstopper popped. Information gathered. DOS9 now looking for the plant. He has to go away. Grumble has to try and play this patiently.
1 versus 2, as you mentioned, a dark cover for DOS9. A bit of information.
You know,
but
you
Grumble
know
expects
there's one
both of
there.
them to be back here.
He's got to clear everything. That's the hardest part, right? But we've seen this before. We've seen the lineup. It doesn't always work for them. They're straight onto that line, but can he hold the control? No. It's Paradox to take the attacker-sided round to push Revenant forward. That's now 3 in a row, Komodo. Can they close it out here?
Well, this is the first time that Revenant actually gather a lead in this scenario, and you know how many times Disguised have had the chances to be able to seal the deal on this one. I do like the valiant attempt at the mid clear as well, but just reactiveness from Revenant to be able to turn around to get all of these trades, to group up and settle down as well, because somebody had to go big in a scenario to get Revenant on the top, right? More often than not, we've been looking at DOS9, we've been looking at Sultan, but Paradox this time steps up where required, and now on this advantage, you might actually be able to isolate a kill with the numbers that you've got over towards the A side if you get a little bit more proactive and not as patient as we've seen from Revenant.
No! No! What are we doing? What are we
There
doing?
is no way that should have happened. This is what I'm talking about, Komodo. You can't win a game as 5 individuals. You have to win a game as a team. Sultan has literally grabbed them, had time to think, and then still take the kills, still get this third as he marches forward, trucking through. Styron and Vera are sitting there wondering, where
We're
is my
gonna
team?
lose our Ascension tournament off of 6
I cannot
failed
believe that
man
he has shuffled into
advantages.
him, and with no
This is how it
ball
ends.
Availability in that mix.
This is how it ends.
Into
This
a
is how
3
it
kills,
ends.
Now looking for the closure.
This is insane.
Damn.
Styron on 1v5.
I mean, we threw this game, right?
Had a couple of impact frags, and he will be able to drop
Yeah,
+9, but
jeez.
Sultan's going to find him with the 4K.
Like,
and
we
that's going to be
threw
overtaking
this
that
game
#1
so
Komodo. I
hard.
don't know what I've just witnessed. I don't know if anyone is sort of stable right now, but that
Like, I don't even have words to say. Like, watching that, like, we just threw so hard. Like, our team has zero post-plant setup. But we have to shake it off. We have to shake it off. We gotta shake it off. That's a best of 3 series. Lock in, boys. It ain't over. It's a high pressure situation. This is where you step up. You gotta be able to shake off a tough loss like that. That's rough. That's rough. We had game point on 3 occasions, regulation and 2 overtimes. And I think in all 3 situations, we had man advantage as well. The 3 chances we had, the 3 rounds we had where we could have won the game, in each of them, we had man advantage. Like, if we can't convert 3 separate times on man advantages, we do not deserve Ascension.
Why are they doing
Hey, you know what?
Honestly, I'm
Winning
so
Ascension is
impressed
not
by
an
how
overnight
aggressive this
thing.
game. 15
These boys have been a team together for 4 months.
because of the efforts
It's gonna
of
take some
Etienne
time.
and DOS9, the rest of the team was able to activate. You compare the first half of SK Rossi, barely any impact. Coming into the second, when do we see these kind of retakes happen with operators as well as Tour de Forces? A double op retake is just unfathomable.
We've
You
lost
see
2
RNG
overtime this
finding DSG
series
staying
already.
on site, and I guess really that's a concern here for this guys when they played on the attack. Vera was so on point with the first kills. You can see he got 10 of them, and look, 22 first
What?
kills.
22
And you
first
still
kills.
somehow lose the game.
22
For
that's great. I think this is actually a Valorant professional record.
extra angles, and then some big shots come from SK Rossi, from Paradox, from DOS9, from Skills. It's just everyone there. You don't forget Sultan. It was a big team effort. Yes, big individual step-ups there from RNT and Sultan. Oh, impressive.
But I think we are the better team when it comes to aim,
Anyway.
and we just gotta stop
Yep,
making mistakes.
That's exactly what
We're
happened
going to the
so
next
many
game,
times. I'm
fresh
so
face.
with that 6 to 22 first kills.
Yeah.
I guess you
We
don't
just gotta stop
win
making
Valorant
mistakes.
by just, guaranteed first kills, right?
And
it's
these are
kind of
pretty
satisfying.
dang big
So,
mistakes.
you did see Vera being so aggressive, but it goes back to the consistency,
Mhm.
right? Because it wasn't like I feel like DSG may have had an opportunity to be more aggressive in so many rounds, but they maybe hesitated or didn't take it quite to the level that they had to. Whereas Revenant kind of had this strange slow but sure, and like it would catch DSG off guard. It caught me off guard, definitely.
Yeah, there's just so many points to really talk about. Don't forget, both Sultan and DOS9 got 2 4Ks. Paradox had his own. And I still won't forget the fact that,
Ooh.
sure, you're losing out in first kills. Vera had a perfect 10-0 first kill to first death ratio, but it's still not enough for DSG. So DSG, this is where the whole individuals not playing as a team problem is rearing its ugly head, and they need to bounce back very soon, or else they're going to be out of the running here in Ascension.
Yep, these were the questions that we were asking at the top of the show, and they are still rearing their ugly heads, right? We're gonna go into a quick break, but as Dax mentioned, this is an elimination match. Can DSG hang on, or is this a Revenant's series to take? We'll find out right after this break.
This is it. Back against the wall. Can the boys clutch up? I think they can do it. 100%. They have the skills. And they do have team play. I think they're just... something's wrong with them. Either it's nerves or either it's jitters. But losing a game where you have 22 first kills and not converting on 3 separate occasions, 3v5s. That's just very disappointing. We'll see. Why double duelist? Well, we don't have initiator, mate. That's the problem. Yeah, Vera won every single one of his duels. He has 10 first kills, 0 first deaths. If you take those stats in any other Valorant game, you show like one team had 8 first kills, the other team had 22 first kills. You would assume the 22 first kill team won, but our opening fraggers are really good. Everything after that involving post plant is just horrible.
DSG versus Revenant, and we are heading into map number 2, which will be Bind. I'm still scratching my head at what went on in that first map, Dax. And
If the boys can pull their mental together, I think this will be a huge turning point for them. But if they're tilted and upset and sad about what just happened, I think they'll let it consume them. This is it. This is the moment. That was our map pick as well. Can the boys pull it together?
Is the way, but I'm still rearing from what we saw in terms of stats there, Mika. Revenant was losing out on first kills, but somehow, some way, the way that they're able to recover in those rounds, the way they're able to play retakes on the defense, and the multi-frag performances from both DOS9 and Sultan, it's just been such strong pickups for Revenant Esports to get those two Kazakhs in, and everything is just working out for them.
Yeah, we were talking about it during the break, right? You look at the stats of that first map.
I have to
on
zoom
paper,
in.
Yeah, exactly. On paper, it looks like DSG won. But then, you know, they didn't. And there were so many rounds where it looks like they had it. But it's just that I'm not sure if they maybe they got too much into their own hands. Maybe they got carried away with, you know, where the round was taking them and stuff. That they probably, you know, didn't exactly solidify their plan. But on Revenant, you know, you kind of just felt like in situations where probably DSG was taking it, they were kind of keeping their comments saying, this isn't over yet, no, there's a window, and they would take those
I mean,
windows.
truthfully, when I see how Revenant plays, still there is that individualistic aspect that Disguise has, but Revenant is able to play off the picks a lot more. They're able to take that space, they're able to bring that confidence in, and not only that, that they're able to swarm with a flood, especially on the retake, that allows them to win out those rounds. Not only that, they punish some of the tendencies that DSG has, catching Vero with the operator, catching Juicy in the openings there, and DSG, there's a small little swap there. Styra now gonna be on the Gecko, but still double duelist. Yoru and Raze, this guy's really living and dying by the double duelist setup.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if it's been working so far, if it's what they're comfortable with, I don't see why they would change out of it now. Especially since, you know, there's still a lot to work on the side of Disguise, right? Don't get me wrong, there's a lot to work on the side of Revenant as well. It wasn't exactly the cleanest for them. There were some rounds where you could tell that Revenant wasn't exactly on the same page, but you know, like going into this, you mentioned that there's a little bit of a change here. I'm wondering how that changes things for Disguise, or if that just makes them, you know, fall out a little bit more in regards to being in sync with each other.
Yeah, I'm curious, right? So the Gecko, always the easier plan coming into this one. Dizzy, very easy to go for the flash instead of the Sky for that kind of intel. But beyond that, there's still that Yoru possibility that DSG is able to bring. And they had some incredible games, Bat and MISG on this. It was overtime wins over Elevate as well as Rev. But then again, Revenant, let's not forget, how did they start this tournament with that streak over Simprisa? And then they dominated Rapid Lo-Fi. If they're gonna get the sweep, it should be here.
Well, it's going to be a statement map for sure, so let's get into buy. We're going to toss it over to Conky and Komodo.
And if you told me,
guys, this might be the last match of the year for us.
DSG, I would have called you crazy,
and if that's the case, we had a good one.
Fantastic right now.
We made it further than we did last year. We made it to Ascension this year.
And they're looking like they've got what it takes right now.
And next year,
absolutely. I mean, I've been so impressed with
we'll
how
go
Bayern's
even
played
further.
Specifically from Revenant, even in their loss against Impresa, I think that they're
whatever happens, I'm
so
proud
really
of the
excited
boys.
to see how Revenant are actually going to be able to maneuver around this map, if they're going to be able to win this close, you know, in this 2-0 fashion.
Definitely doable.
Haven't seen Bind in a while.
Quite a statement, right? You know, we've had limited 3 mappers, and to have another 2-0, but in this way, would be kind of awesome for the storyline, right?
Yeah. Oh, really risky from skills. However, if you're isolated as the only B player right now, you're by yourself. You need to be a little bit more cautious.
Did Vera get dinked? Vera got dinked.
Have the spike outside of Hookah, are creeping up in towards the showers as well. I like the plan, I like the strategy, but I feel like that's going to be the go time actually for Disguise to stretch out in towards the A site, see what DOS9 can do, see if he can hold things down with Paradox.
Getting in spooky now, going to try and hard clear here. DOS9 will go 1-for-1 with Grumble. Now Grumble trying to get into the clear, into the position. He actually does manage to deny the wingman. That's massive. Very nicely done from Paradox here. Now they have to try and re-get this plan
Nice
down.
double swing.
So
Oh my god, Grumble with the play 4-man advantage. I know it's hard. Guys, I know the man. Okay, good.
Still alive. However,
Good.
it will not be the Sultan's swing in this time round as well.
I was like, oh, 4v1. I'm still nervous.
PSG. Revenant started off hot, but unfortunately didn't quite get it through.
Yeah, it's one of these things as well where you do have skills trying to bait out a lot of these positions, a lot of eyes over towards Hookah, maybe a little bit of utility as well while buying time for his team to set up for the TP through.
Nice job by
I feel like at
Grumble
that
with the
point in
double
time,
head
they just
dinks.
relinquish a lot of the
Boom!
control that they were
God
looking to
damn,
establish
Grumble.
on the A site with the
My
eventual
goat.
showers pop. You got a feeling that for a lot of this A site success for Revenant, they want to be gathering some information either in showers or up through short. Where Disguise, you know, they're not really going to be meeting with that too much, right? So I kind of want to see how early Revenant can adapt towards that sort of situation.
Look at his mid-walk. Spotted out by Vera, though, already. Sultan getting very, very bold and brave, trying to take that early control for the rest of the team.
Yeah, well, rotations already starting to come back over towards this B side. Large footsteps, actually, from SK Rossi with the Dizzy available. Shot immediately.
Portal's closed.
So I do like the respect that is being given here from Disguised at the moment, right? You've got Sultan with that toxic screen just to cut across. You can definitely play with a lot of timings and a lot of sneaky shenanigans with showers controls with this, you know, kind of staple defensive wall.
So rotating back around. It's not going to be that side hit, though, DSG.
Do not
Keeping their eyes on the
GP.
B-site prize, and
Do
SK
not
Rossi is gonna have a
GP.
pretty tough time. Obviously, we'll have the Dizzy replenished as the wingman, but doing it solo from elbow, I think it's going to be a full 5-on-5 on the retake here for Revenant.
Yeah, and I'm going to be actually interested to see for Disguise if they're going to be able to hold this down. In
The way we
5 versus 5,
take
because
sides
there's a
are
lot of
crazy.
this
We just
utility that
jam
Revenant do
util and
have
hope for the
to be able
best,
to
huh?
throw in towards this retake, even though it is just
Uh-oh.
pistols.
Information gathered onto Vera, but they're not really going to be too stressed by that. I think they can just relax, really, because look at the damage. It's always going to be a hard one trying to flood out. You know, Bind is one of those really, really punishing maps with the extremities, right? Going up against those pistols can be a real big challenge. Great shot
Yo,
from Dustin.
grab
Rumble
the
will
Spectre.
run
We
on
got
in,
the Spectre, got the
continuing that
Spectre.
streak from the previous round, and DSG walk away with 2.
Yeah, when you go into the Poison Cloud, pops at the right timing, that decay will get the better of you. But hey, look, the first 2 rounds, we've seen a little bit of different deployments from Revenant on this defensive side. Now it's time to get into it. And I think it's going to be an important factor just around the timings on this Viper utility as well, and the combination with Brimstone, right? Because we've already seen over on the Revenant side, huge impact frags come through from the Kazakh boys.
Okay,
with
one
knowing
guy-
how strong they are when it comes to a map like
Oh, we're
Bind as
buying
well.
up
So I
here?
think if you're Disguised,
Crazy.
you're kind of trying to figure out nice and early on, where is Dust9? Where is Sultan? What's the timing looking like? What have we already seen on tape by a couple of key pieces of utility in what the strategies are actually going to be?
So just taking showers, trying to sort of sniff out as much as they can, getting that little bit of additional control. Revenant still not super 100% where they want to put this third man, just sort of leaving it in rotation through defender side at spawn. Spike still dropped, information trying to be picked up out of Hookah here from Styron.
There's a couple of individuals actually spreading wings around the map for Disguise. Siren up through the sands. You've got Juicy starting to peek a little bit over through showers.
have a
but I
minute,
believe
guys.
It's already been spotted out by Paradox. So you've got some shifts starting to make their way over to the A site from both sides, actually.
Definitely looking like they're going to lean towards this A side here as well. So Revenant are set up as well as they can be. But now as it goes back, Paradox is going to have to fall back into Lamps. It's getting a little bit scary now. Vera looking to try and get his way into elbows. best he can.
Jesus,
Paradox
Vera,
still
you're
down.
fucking
Wingman
nuts.
will be able to get that plan. Juicy
When you
finds
get this
another.
guy, when you get...
But again, they're stuck here. 4-on-4. Dust9 will recover, getting into position. A little bit of a tag onto the member at triple, and it's Dust9 again. This man is such an animal with his multi-frags, with his consistency. And as SK Rossi moves up short with his teammate of skills, it's going to be
Oh
all over
my
Grumble.
God,
He can't
Grumble.
quite do it, as it is
And
going to be
TNT.
again Dust9 with the multi-frag, with the 3K to bring Revenant out their first round.
That was not
Yeah,
good.
really good later flank to come through
That
from
was
them as
not
well,
good
when
for
full
us.
focus is on the Disguise members that are actually pushing back towards the backer side as well, right? When you go for an overextension like that, you do leave yourselves susceptible. For a bit of
Grumbles
a
one
further
away
play.
from
And it's even more
Alto.
extenuated by the fact that none of these teams are running a Cypher on this map, right? Usually your Cypher trips are just rinse and repeat for the flank watch, but these 2 teams need to be extremely aware of positions around the map, more so than usually you would come to see on this map.
Man, just so much to think about, and sort of trying to refocus again, you know, playing that double duelist, as you mentioned, playing that kind of individualistic game. It's going to be so tough to avoid some of these players from Revenant.
This time, though, the toxic screen won't be meeting its way out over to the other side of showers, I believe. So, See what sort of differences Revenant come in with into this round, which is actually going to be a little bit strengthened by the fact that you've got the Orbital Strike to buy a lot of time from DOS9. You've also then got on the flip side Styron with that Thrash. One of these ultimates in the game that have a lot of hate towards them as well. How
Nice.
often you can get them. Some
We
decent
get the
patience
first
though
kill,
overall
but we all
on
know
the B side of the map,
first
though,
kill
Mitch is
don't
still
mean
taken
much.
out free of charge.
50 seconds. 50 seconds.
Just buying time now. SK Rossi up very, very close on a little bit of an island here. But Disguise have done pretty well to just cut sound. I think SK Rossi, one would be plenty here. They're going to send out the Thrash, and he will be able to destroy it. Throws down the Mosh, but now they're going to start to run their way through. So he's kind of isolated a little bit in Hookah here.
30 seconds left.
But it definitely is the time for Disguise to make sure they establish themselves a really good plan if they don't want to see the lead. I'll emphasize, Mitch, how many 4v5 scenarios did we see from Revenant be won in the previous map? So I don't even count them out. Just
Nice scramble.
maybe now you might, with Paradox losing his life.
Careful, we know
you
there's two
equalize,
there.
but you get closer as DOS9. And remember, the plan actually hasn't gone
Spike
down just
not
yet.
down. Exactly right. They are
3v2.
still continuing to fight for this. If they can deny that, that could be a moment for SK Rossi, but they're going to let that spike get planted. SK Rossi gets another. This is the thing. These 4v5s,
Yo,
they
yes,
keep looking for
Styron.
Styron. Oh.
That's actually huge. That was actually huge. That was actually huge.
NT
That was
in the
actually
chat.
huge.
Revenant almost make it work, but that's a much better result there from Disguised. They clear out the mid position, they get that opening pick onto skills, and they rotate around towards Garden. They send everyone in together, and whilst it was a little bit scrappy on the
We
side
just
take,
love
they get the spike
peeking.
planted,
We
they
just
get it
like,
down, and then they can
even though we
defend that
won,
push plan
like we
with
lost
vigor.
so much to peeking.
Yeah, that's an interesting one for skills as well. When you've got no utility,
You just
from your
always
teammates, it really
peek it,
is just
always
a
peek it.
individual dry peek for
Just
nothing.
please
no reward or
stop
anything.
peeking,
So I think we have
guys.
A little bit of a thought process individually on those sort of scenarios, but I got to give good credit for Revenant on that attempt at the retake too. Great timings on the utility that they drop in, though. In the result of losing that previous round, definitely gives Disguise the opportunity here to extend really far back towards their home and showers once again.
Yeah. It's going to have to be so patient. You know, Sultan is in a very much one and done position. Obviously, Vera holding it very, very close. The dimensional drift goes out. They're going to spot out Paradox quickly. But he does jump the shoulder around. Vera's going to be able to find that shot, and now it makes it really, really awkward and uncomfortable. Paradox is in such a bad position. He's going to be overwhelmed quickly as well, and now they flood on in from this flank.
Vera just hopping around with the judge.
He's doing big, big things here right now, denying this counter eco of Revenant. They didn't exactly have the best weapon to go in with it, Komodo, but they've given it a solid crack. And unfortunately, it's DSG who seem to be a little bit more reinvigorated as we got into the second map.
Wow, actually nice shot by
Oh,
that
well,
guy.
at least one on the escape for DOS9. Feels like he's always going to be good for one, at least in a round as well. But yeah, so far establishing a pretty decent lead on this attacking side for Disguise. We'll see if they can keep on doing that on the new gun round that'll be presented, because I feel like for our team over in Revenant, right, one of the things that was getting the better of both of these teams was stringing together a lot of rounds over on Lotus, building up a lot of the economy. So if you can actually answer back here with a couple of clean rifle rounds, get back into this defensive side, I think towards one of their big successes over against Rapid Lo-Fi, right, it was the string of rounds that they were getting on this attacker side time and time again. They were showing what's working on attack with this comp, what is weak for the comp that Rapid Lo-Fi in that game was deploying as well, right? So they have to be kind of careful now being on the defensive side themselves for Revenant, what they're going to be susceptible against. And I think that's this time out right now. You've got to figure it out. You've got the guns. You know that you're being a little bit weaker on these individual peaks coming out. You know the tendencies of Disguise, more often than not so far, has actually been successful showers control and appeal back towards this A side.
And how do you use this pause time as a coach now to talk? Looks like there's plenty to say. Trying to get back the heads, because they do seem a little bit dejected here at this point in time, Revenant. But again, you know, they're a team that is very high emotion. And we saw it towards the latter parts of Lotus early on that they were really, really confident. They were really, really cheering. So all we can hope is that this pause will allow them a little bit of a chance to get back into this one. Disguised have got some momentum behind them, but they're not too far ahead of the curve at the moment.
Alrighty, well, time comes back into it. Now we're seeing, you know, previously Styron with that Thrash to be sent in on the attacker's side. This time for Rossi, he's got that key piece of ability. Sultan's one away. These are the sort of swing rounds where if you can navigate a rifle round without the ultimates or one or two, you really start to build up your own. I like that Skills has changed to just use a Prowler really early on and just dumping a lot of this utility
Does he know? Oh, there you go. Okay, I was going to say, what a little bit
There's
of a
one more
change,
in
but
there.
now
There's
they're
one more
just
guy in there.
completely funneled through. They're all going through the teleporter here, Komodo, and every single one
What
of them
the
would be
hell is happening?
Blade has walked away with 3 there for
That
free.
started off so bad
they
for
got
us
the
and then
ultimate
ended
paradox.
up so
I mean,
good.
Vera rather
Wait, hang on, guys.
got
It's a
the seeds,
3v1. This is
and
our
then he shot
weakness.
the ultimate to sight.
Yeah.
Sultan gets 2. It was a 3v5.
I actually thought
Careful.
that the Revenant setup there was
Careful.
kind of gold as well. When Skills baits out a lot of that ability, he looks to get himself out of dodge. He looks to entrap them and seize them for a double flood in through the teleporter.
Can we all just,
And
all
everything was
three just
missed
go
out
as
by the
one
Revenant
somewhere?
boys. I kind of feel for them in that scenario. On paper, that looks like a pretty decent strategy.
And it was. On paper, 100% it was. But now DOS9 moving in. If he can
Guys!
there's a chance of 1 because they are low. Juicy, fully HP'd, but he is inside Hookah right now. They have to play this crossfire. Does have the Molotov available. 2 Sky Smokes if he needs them. But it's just, again, such a hard position. So many angles to clear this. Juicy is going to be the one to take point. He does
Juicy
clear, and
boy.
that's Juicy, who is so sharp.
Juicy boy.
So he does rip the head off.
Juicy
You know,
boy,
he was kind of
saving my
pushing
life.
DOS9 into a position to win that one out there in the
Was there a
clutch.
post
He's been
plant
so good in them.
plan there, or was it just, yeah, I'm gonna, if I see this guy, I'm gonna shoot him. Master Wayne saves the fucking game here, by the way.
It's just so hard to break it down because they all try to make their way through the teleporter, but they got stuck.
Yeah. Yeah, as I said, on paper, that strategy actually looked really good for them. But hey, it's not over just yet for their defensive side, right? They've got another gun round to come into it here. They've got a pit for Sultan. You're looking at what DSG are going to be able to throw into the mix to be able to sniff that one out. If they're sending in the wingman for a bit of reconnaissance, if they're putting in the boombot. Other than that, Juicy doesn't have his ultimate to be able to go in towards that pit, right? So it could actually be a really impactful moment right now.
Nice.
For Revenant to
Juicy
get
boy.
that happening, but I mean, what do you do against that?
Yeah, they all bought half armor. I think we have to intel. We probably have to intel that this team really likes light armor, so Outlaw is really good. Because, yeah, all of their players have light armor right now.
Paradox. The ultimate's up for Paradox as well.
Yeah, Outlaw is like a free op right now.
Silence though, with the opening frag for DSG. Settle it down. This is the time that you want to try and let a Revenant overcook things just a little bit with this deep pit up through A short as well. You do leave both of your controller players to the wrong location right now.
Wait, why are they going
And the
A?
locations as well.
Yeah, what's the call? Okay, Thrash comes out. They are going to hear the audible now.
Why would they go A? You have a Viper. Oh,
They're just going to wait for the spike plant to go down.
what's
before they
what's
do
on
it.
A? What are you
Is this a
for?
save straight off the rip,
You're
Komodo?
safe?
I honestly wouldn't mind a save from Revenant to go at it again in the next rounds. Not gonna lie, the hunt isn't too sensational.
That's
from DSG.
crazy. I actually think, I mean, I
You
think
can
it's the
stretch
right
to a
play at
three
this
right now.
point,
You
but
have the
that's
investment with Thrash
crazy.
as well, just to try and find it out. And now, as Disguised, they will know that there's.
What are you gonna
nothing
do
here.
with the?
They know that it's
You
gonna
guys
be a
get
save.
one.
It just gives Revenant the chance to go at it again.
What?
On the back of this round, they lose skills and they lose a pit. You've got another crack at it in the next.
I think definitely trying to see something maybe on a switch up of how they're approaching this B site. Has been
They
very
committed a
kind of
Viper
solo
ult
dolo,
for
and, you
this.
know, once the second that Disguised get the opening pick, they can quickly kind of march their way up towards the side. It's so hard for Revenant to trade out.
Well, that's 6 on the board for Disguise. So far, navigating this attacking side with ease, it kind of feels like a little bit. A couple of elements where we've got, you know, as we've been saying on paper, really great ideas from Revenant. It showcases that they're a very well-versed team on Bind, but there's just a couple of these moments where they're losing a pick really early on, and to compare it against the previous map, they were winning the 4 versus 5s over on Lotus. This time they're not winning the 4 versus 5s.
And right now, skills and paradox.
I mean, do you
who did
even
have a fair
upgrade
bit of
your
impact,
armor, or do you
especially
stay
sort of
on
the second
light?
half and the overtimes of Lotus yet to activate, so we can't have that slowness. We need to get them have a bit of a wriggle on right now.
Well, they can't even buy up the armor. They have
Some
to
actual
spend
showers
it on
control
the
this time from
util they
Revenant.
used.
Usually Disguised are the ones to lurk in through here, but they'll turn their head towards greener pastures.
Oh,
Oh,
Prowler's completely dodged Vera. I think he's somewhat aware of it here, skills,
Oh,
and he
now
will
he
get
is.
the shot away. Yeah, definitely.
Vera?
When you've got a
Vera?
judge marching at you,
okay.
but he does
Vera,
well.
what the hell,
Great
man?
response there
If
from
I was in
Skills.
that position, even I would have won that.
In the last round, right? You really do have a lot at your disposal.
Like,
for
not
this
even,
round.
not
So
even
an
lying.
opening
I'm pretty
kill
sure
for your player who's
put a
so
judge in my
fast.
hand in that position, I
was
win it.
gorgeous, but Paradox caught lacking a little bit here to equalize.
Really rough. But still a 4v4. Doable for both teams. Spike yet to go down, still making their way out of the showers. DOS9 in position, 1-2 away from the orbital strike. But it's all under Grumble's positioning here. They've sent the fake out through. They've just got to be so careful up in these close quarters.
Yeah, this vertical wall to cut the side as well to allow pathway in towards U-Hole is always going to be one of those interesting ones, and you need to put your utility in towards it, but so far, DOS9 able to establish a lead immediately. Again,
Surprise, motherfucker!
Yeah, the shorty.
Wayne, you gotta hold this shit. Oh god, this is a okay. We doing a post plant. We're doing a post plant here, right?
But it looks like Wayne's already aware of it, already ready for this.
Wayne, your
Crouches
cursor
underneath it. Great positioning
too
there from
high.
Sultan. Now they can get a little bit of a move in towards this side, but they have to find something inside the pit. Snakebite will go in, but where's Grumble going to go with it? He's close to the side of Elbow. And now he's going to get back in, finds an additional frag, make that 2, make that 3 under the wingman, but he is taken down by
Ooh, nice Tyron. Grumble is so good. He's gonna get poached for sure. He's gonna get poached. He's too good.
No, they
He's
can't,
too
can they?
good.
You think that these trades are going to keep on favoring Revenant. Immediately, they're brought back by DSG, who just have a really good read on how this A site is maneuvering and being maneuvered rather by the
Like the
players on
foresight
Revenant,
to
right?
bring
You've
out
got
the
this gold,
Judgeroni.
cut it out, You're lurking Vera in. Yeah, the Prowler could have upset things and could have actually given you some good advantages, but when the plan actually goes down and there is the pit, you've got your sort of protocols still being established by Revenant to get into it. It's just Grumble behind the pit, peeking in and out, layering them when they're not expecting it. That's the tricky intricacies
What is this?
that we
Attack
love to
up?
see from him.
Here's a different change-up though.
Juice
Sultan
Vera?
swings dry and he gets the opening
Vera's
pick as
having a
well.
bad
Gets
game.
the info from the operator of Juicy.
Oh.
But this is the thing. You keep
Oh.
spraying, and sometimes you get punished for it, right? Juicy
Oh.
getting a great response. It was such a good opening there from Sultan too.
Wait,
Yeah.
they have an op?
It's really unfortunate for Sultan in that one because now
Gecko
you go
op,
from
that's
the player
crazy.
advantage and, you know, pretty much nil space from DSG into an immediate rotation from the Revenant guys, just leaving SK Rossi on this operator line in towards Showers by himself. You still do have a lot of this info clearing ability as well for DSG to still send in towards the site. You can fake out, you can paranoia still. Now you can actually dimensional drift as Juicy's just picked that up. 40 seconds to go and DSG can posture for a pretty decent hit.
Manages to get out as well.
Okay, you know what? We got the Molly out. That's
Repositioning
$200
back
bucks.
towards A. It's just going to be SK Rossi, and look, you know, having an operator in tow, not exactly the best weapon for it. So Juicy's going to pop that dimensional drift and go clear house.
Alright,
Go
nothing
straight into
here.
Lance first.
The only problem I'm seeing is DOS9 again with this orbital strike can buy so much time, and then you can start to put down the remainder of your 2 ultimates on the back of this one.
Great shot from SK Rossi, able to hold on for now.
When you plant this, oh yes, Wayne.
Has he
Holy
moved
crap,
through the
Wayne.
cover? Didn't even realize the man was up in heaven right now, but Paradox gets the
2v2.
shot, shoots onto Grumble, finds him on towards the side, and that's going to make it a little bit awkward now for Wayne and Styron.
Wait, where did Wayne go?
Styron actually gets
Oh,
out.
he
Managed to
outs out.
get out of dodge very quickly here, so it's an awkward 2v2 now. Back into Showers, back towards
Wait,
Short.
Wayne
Sultan
is so
uses
good at
utility to absolute
repositioning.
perfection here. They're both going to have to clear up and try and make as much space of this as possible, but the paranoia is available, is in hand. Are they going to find anything off the back of that Prowler? The answer is no.
Not on, not on, not on.
All he has to do, though,
Oh,
is
yeah, Master Wayne.
continuing to shoot forth.
The
to put
Penguins
pressure
on the
and I
loose.
think he has
What are you
just
gonna do,
won the
Master
entirety
Wayne?
of
You're
the
gonna
round here
save
for
Gotham
Moto
City
for
from
his
the
team in disguise.
Penguin?
Wayne, what a king.
Individually,
Oh no,
Wayne
Master
just
Wayne
come
is
up with
too
some brilliance
good.
in
He's
that
gonna
one,
get
hasn't he? From the
poached.
beginning kills to relocate
Oh.
himself, realizing that there is someone up at heaven in Paradox from the showstopper. Look, could have decided to not use it, hold on to it and stick with it. Get a crossfire from your teammate in short, but just getting out there to play by the numbers, play by the time when you've got a paranoia in tow, you don't need to be the one to go for the peak in that scenario. Your teammate can, and that is so cheeky from him, just relocating nicely on this Omen kit. Again, I kind of feel for Revenant, right? When they put in themselves in these advantageous positions, just individual heroics, this time from Disguise getting the better of them. And I was about to say, I hope we get a timeout on the back of this one for them to just have a good discussion, to try and convert this in towards the couple of remaining rounds that we have.
Certainly the time is now. It's going to be potentially even harder as they switch sides and go in towards the offense. But look, still not done, right? They've still got another map in tow if they need it. Disguised have kind of all pressure and eyes on them now, right? You can imagine after a very lackluster Lotus, where, you know, it almost sort of felt like for most of the game they were rounds ahead, but the entire time it was just this game of back and forth where it felt like it was an eternal tug of war, right? And ultimately, in the end, Revenant, they just pulled harder. And it doesn't seem to be the way like this at all right now on Bind. It's been a very clear advantage for Disguised. And again, we know that Revenant have what it takes to turn it around, but what is going to be the practice they put in play to achieve that, Komodo?
Yeah, well, I think first and foremost you need the guns in your possession, unfortunately, for Revenant, which this round isn't too promising in that regard. You're not prioritizing on getting SK Rossi. A lot of these thrashes is your cheapest ultimate. Maximize that ability.
Well, you're gonna bust out a smoke with a stinger?
Double Sky Smoke push. But again, just being held by Juicy.
He's gonna get the shot. Oh! Great work from DOS9. They don't need to pick up anything off the back of that either. They can just fall straight away and be happy with that one-man advantage.
Oh.
They do have to be careful, though, in their fallback towards the site that they don't lose their life.
Vera, what is happening with you?
That's not a position that you're swinging for a pre-fire for, but the wrangling of the stinger from Paradox there.
Vera, lock in your mental, bro.
A lesser-equipped gun round for Revenant would be massive to try and bring this half back.
Well, yeah, when you take that gun away.
Well, they have to pick up. So Wayne, Grumble, they might be able to find this space, find this control. Paradox very low, but it's an easy sort of retake in for Revenant at this point.
Oh my god, thank you, Grumble. That was so close, actually.
Find that an opportunity now for Disguise to at least establish the spike. But I'm just noting that Styron is still nowhere near the action. Because
We walked in Molly.
Around the showers, little by little, one by one, Disguise start to fall.
What are we doing? Why do we do this to ourselves?
The time that is above you,
guys,
really becoming an issue.
we're at 20 seconds.
Skills now spotted. Wayne has to throw the paranoia out and try and get his way in towards heaven. And he's going to be spotted out as well immediately by Rossi. So the mosh comes out from Styron, but again, there's just no time.
What was that round?
Peak and Revenant, they are back on the board. They bring one through, and it's the second round into 10th.
What was that?
After your timeout as well.
What did we do there?
Wonders, hasn't it?
We just one by one walked into stingers. Literally not a single swing, not a single trade.
To give you the affordance of a really strong attacking sided half, right? I'll note 9 rounds they were able to find against Rapid Lo-Fi on their attacking side, and then you shifted on over to the
we're on attack. We have 2 duelists. Start dueling.
In preset too, so you know that there's strength in Revenant's attack. You know that for Disguise, they technically has also done enough on an attacking sided bind here to set themselves up for the defensive side. Mitch, an immediate change of pace where Vera is into the site now.
Okay, that Brimstone's fucking trolling.
What a one tap from Vera as well, you know, to get the line, but to hit the shot is another thing.
That Brimstone full ran, not check a corner. You heard the double satchel, no?
Of an awkward retake to come through.
Post plant.
Clear. They do have the utility in tow, and it's going to be an opening there for SK Rossi. Can't get Wingman back just for the second. Going to be the Dizzy over the top. Just instead, now the Thrash engaged. Trying to bring that one out, trying to clear out as much as possible as it does go in towards elbow. And
two guys, kill him.
Can defend. Skills has
yes!
enough. Oh, not quite. He tagged up Grumble just enough to slow him down, but
that was so close. We had 2 guys trying to run into U-Haul to try and murder them.
And now as we close in towards the last round of the half, Revenant need to pick up the pace as we've been mentioning. There's been so many moments where it's just almost there, but the fact that the Thrash caught 2, so rough.
Talk about a pace change though.
We only have plans that involves attacking.
On Lotus now,
like our strategy really revolves around kill all 5 of the enemy right away.
DOS9 be stellar with these sheriffs, but these rifle rounds, you know, a little bit here and there for him individually.
What? That was a leg shot.
A good start though in a new round for SK Rossi. Styron down.
We have a raise out. We need to get this out
soon.
soon.
Should actually really get a wriggle on, because that's the furthest away from where the action is if the TP's not hit by DSG.
And SK Rossi wants to get this repeat back. He's already had some pretty good impact on the operator so far. And if he gets onto the line, maybe there's an opportunity where he gets this. Look at them just all tailed up, not wanting to peek at all. There's no real opportunity for them to sort of re-peek into this. The Dizzy will be destroyed, so there's the info there. And SK Rossi looking to get straight back onto that line. But on this Gecko, as we know, there's not really any way to kind of get out of this unless he chooses to pop the Thrash. But
it's extremely risky to be that far in front as well when you still do have your Thrash on the operator line. You lose your life here in a 5 versus 3. That's the way that DSG can get back into a round such as this. But hey, he's hitting the shots where required. Very calm and collected are Revenant.
oh, the Thrash!
Except for them.
Yeah. I mean, look, we've already brought it down into a great position. So we'll that. SK Rossi to find the opening 2 picks and then Sultan to close. That's a much better round from Revenant. Awesome stuff done. It is just so interesting, isn't it, though, seeing SK Rossi lean onto the operator, even on these lesser mobile agents, and somehow still making it work in some pretty crucial opportunities. Great 2 shots. And then, yeah, really good pickup as well from Sultan to close out the round here. So 9-3, curse scoreline, right? Sure.
I mean, one of the things that I was really excited about for Revenant's chances in this tournament was actually their first game against Impreza, right? When I was watching that game, I was thinking, all right, they've actually got something to deliver into this tournament. People doubted if they were going to be the team from SA, if it was going to be True Rippers coming through who had a really, really good year. No, it was SK Rossi and co to bring it forward. We've seen brilliance from DOS9, brilliance from Sultan. We saw it in the first map, them really delivering. But you turn it in towards this one and it feels it's just a little bit lacking, right? The curse that is when you have a map that you've played in 2 series, a really good showing against the kind of #1 current team in the tournament. I'll add a star to that 1/2 because
Asterisk
there too. And then you're absolutely dominating a team like Rapid Lo-Fi. You kind of know that your opponents, if you're going to be picking into this map, are going to find your weaknesses, are going to find where you're really vulnerable. And I think we're being shown that at the moment by Disguised.
Super interested to see how Revenant shifted up on this attacker's side. There's still smiles from SK Rossi, as you can very much see. And they know that they've got this additional map, right? You know, they've got one more in the coffer that they can take it through. They can refocus and go back onto Ascent. It's going to be interesting to see if we do get that mirror matchup on Agents, if we need it. But overall, still not done just yet. Pistol, second round bonus. I'll start believing.
Alrighty. Well, hopefully there's been a little bit of a discussion for them as well, and I think you're exactly right in the fact that we need to see, you know, the pistol and the secondary round. Maybe not necessarily the bonus if you can answer back immediately after it. You know, we've got some stylistic differences in how Juicy should be playing this Yoru and will be playing this Yoru on the defensive side. You are running, you know, the fadeless comp. You're running on the Gecko, so it really is just the close quarters dizzy action that you're going to get some information for over at the side of B Long. So Juicy is probably going to be playing a little bit more, you know, with these close quarters duels, running in for the info, TPing out on the back of it, trying to set up his team to assist him.
So no connection.
Oh, Wayne with the bait.
Shots, but already up close and personal.
Wayne with the bait.
They take down Wayne. Gives him a little bit of position, but obviously we've still got one more
Okay, we
waiting
got
in
a
the
trade
wings,
at
and that's
least.
Vera. He does get found though, and now Wayne, as he does get
Nice,
the old
Styron
dizzy
with the
in fight,
backup.
Styron can join to help him out. Does get traded, but Styron
2v2.
another. At least it's traded though again. Now Wingman can look to try and find this spike plant, and SK Rossi can take point going forward.
Yeah, they're too far away from the action over in the showers crawl now to come back on over. Grumble, he's got the Sheriff. You got Juicy with a blind side in tow with the Ghost as well.
How do they reposition here? SK Rossi gets
We
the
can't
info.
reveal that we have both
Doesn't
people
want to be
coming
able
out
to
from here.
push back in though. They try to get back to Garden. Now they can get back to back here. Try and just look down forward. There's so many angles to clear here for Disguised. Now they get the info. Good shot connected onto skill. So it's
Yeah,
all over
Grumble's
Rossi.
the fucking
He's
GOAT,
not
by
really
the
able
way.
to quite
If you
find
don't know,
Grumble, he has
if you
been
don't know,
sending
he's
that
actually the
absolute
GOAT.
storm
In case you forgot.
in this map, in this series in general. Lotus, he looked amazing. Still continuing forward on Bind. I need to see the frags now as we bring up the stats in just a sec, but that's 10 rounds for Disguised, and unfortunately with that pistol gone, I don't know, I'm almost starting to feel that we need that third map for Revenant.
I actually thought that 2v2 at the end was more favorable over to the side of Revenant because time's are ticking. You've got no utility on the side of DSG anymore to be able to throw into it. I mean, I'm seeing a Prowler for skills, but it's the Dry Jewels that they decide to swing with instead. Use the Prowler as a nuisance. Use it as another distractor in the mix, right? It becomes a third body at that point in time whilst you get the info on the back of it. They either destroy
Oh,
it
they're
or they
forcing.
defeat it, then you swing on the back of it.
Oh, I actually
So
like
there's a
this
bit
from
of,
them.
you
I
know,
think forcing is
some
really smart.
chaos
Nope,
in the
never
camp
mind, they're
of
dead.
Revenant. Some
Absolutely.
miscomms.
Yeah.
No way. Oh, thank God,
On the
Grumble's
half,
there.
though. Quickly traded though again by big man Grumble. He's picked up the stinger even, but it's traded. That's SK Rossi getting it. So it's again a 2-on-2. DOS9
Yeah.
not exactly with the best weapon with that judge. But they still have to get the spike down.
Oh, it's all going to come down to timing. If you try to get the TP, you get
That's
damage
a
down.
judge.
Now,
Wait, it's a bulldog
SK
now.
Rossi is by himself, naded out. They can.
What?
DOS9
Why
making
did you
overwhelming,
jump
but no.
that, Juicy?
Okay.
Juicy,
This is all distracted.
no.
Meanwhile, the plant goes down.
How quickly can he get out? If he can get in towards spawn here, could be absolutely massive. He has managed.
He has
to
the
slip
boy.
wickets
He has
here.
the boy to
So Styles
defuse.
is going to go for full straight through hookah. See if he can try and beat the contest. Where's it planted? Very open. Wingman goes down, meaning he has to peek. He's going to get the dizzy out as well. With the molly, that might actually drop Wingman before it even gets to half. It absolutely
Please,
will.
Styron.
So that's some
Please,
great
Styron.
utility usage here for Revenant. They are making a mountain out of a molehill right now. Really, really sort of tough, but Styron can connect with that shot. He's looking to go deeper, trying to clear it as best as possible. But Rossi has given the patience, has given the position. Styron has to hit the shot, but the time is ticking. And it's going to be close, but I think he's just got enough time, Komodo.
Oh.
Yes! He's got it. 0.55 the round.
My God.
The Skies will secure it.
Is that my
Another
clutch
round that
goat?
goes down to the wire at the end of it on the back of this utility where you've got the great sense of utility usage to come out from DOS9.
Is that
And
my
he manages
clutch
to maneuver
goat?
out of this tricky location over at the A site where he is left in a position that if he loses that duel, the round probably does go over, right, to the opponents. But Styron, 1v1
So
fight
patient.
in a position against SK Rossi that
So
was not known,
patient.
Right? He could have been going for a massive flank. SK Rossi didn't hit the TP. He didn't reveal his position when that was coming forward. So, I mean...
Like the actual patience out of this guy.
It's just a roughie.
Yeah,
The previous
it's a
map that
roughie.
was rough as for
These
the
guys are
Skies.
just
We're
full
now seeing a map
judging.
It's rough as for Revenant. The amount of 1v1s that's come down to, it's just tough.
I can't see
But
shit,
they're
man. They
tough, they're
caterpillared
resilient.
this.
And that's why even if this map goes bye-bye for the Skies, we'll
Guys!
continue to give it a bit of a
Nice,
finish.
Styron
It's
saved.
going to be
Oh.
Juicy.
the flash coming out, but Styron will protect old mate in Juicy. Grumble does manage to get another one as well, continuing his tear forward.
Why?
But look at that rapid.
Why are we never watching play?
Should be around guaranteed.
Why?
Revenant, and it is Rossi finding the frag from the position, but it's Sultan with one of his killer flanks again. Secure the round.
We're actually,
I'm looking at
I'm
the
gonna
midst of
be
it as
honest,
well,
we're
and
actually
the Thrash
stupid
actually went off
sometimes.
against Juicy. Were they going for the knife in that situation, trying to get close?
It's like you
That
know
would've
the
been unfortunate for
oh
DOS9,
my
4
God.
bullets in
The
the chamber. Okay,
desperate,
must
bro.
have
The
run out to pull out the
desperate.
sidearm to get out of dodge in the open. Understandable if that is the case, but at the end of it, it's as you mentioned for Sultan and DOS9 again, man. These are the two players that have really been leading by example for Revenant in a lot of these rounds, be it by deficit win or by loss as well, to try and carry
Now,
them forward.
wait,
And
we
now
have
that
to
was the
save?
bonus round, coming in forward for this one into a new round.
Even
Those
though
guys
they
are
lost the
pretty
force
ill-equipped,
up?
so this is
That's
the
crazy.
time for Revenant to get back into the map pick of their choosing.
we counter,
Wayne, though,
we
and
we
Juicy.
counter shotgunned them.
Oh, Komodo, I feel like you've jinxed it at this point in time. Wayne now
Maybe.
gets the paranoia out, dodges the Molotov. Judge in hand now, Grumble getting another. I feel like I'm just repeating this guy's name. It's like Groundhog Day. Rossi does manage to drop one with the Moss.
I don't get
Juicy
it.
Picks up
The
another.
worst guns have
And
won
recover
2
just
rounds
makes
in a
it so
row.
easy. And Grumble with this Sheriff. Guy's a bit of an animal, to be honest. 12 rounds now secured for Disguised. They've been willing it forward for Revenant, but it's just not quite working out for the Indian side at this point in time. South Asia's pride. But, you know, you've always got to consider what's in the back end. How many strong teams come out of the Malaysia-Singapore region, Komodo. Got some of them at the tippy top of the world stage.
I mean, we saw exactly in the previous series between Riddle and Naos, right? The first map being OT extravaganza that we got here as well. The middle map that was Lotus back
Hey,
then
what's our
was
two
a
duelists
13 to
doing?
3 to Riddle. This one, look, if it does end here at a 13 to 4, the final map was an absolute nail biter. So if we're along the same pathway, if we're along the same script, Ascent, the same map, might still deliver us something really, really close.
Seen some banger Ascent games so far this competition, haven't we, Komodo? DOS9, Styron going tit for tat, 1 for 1. But they've got to overwhelm again Grumble. SK Rossi's up close. The rest of the team don't really seem to be super keen to make it around because they're still letting Paradox kind of sniff out Hookah at this point in time, but he's not finding anything.
Yeah, it's going to come down to a moment here for Revenant to get a player advantage. If you're finding either Wayne in hookah, U-Haul again, you know, he's been such a menace there. Or if you are trying to find Grumble playing back behind the triple, that is your avenue to get in towards.
Uh-oh, Juicy's chasing you.
He's just gonna chase
a lot
him.
of this information.
I'm surprised Juicy didn't try and murder him.
That's funny as. Let him go for a second. Just gonna spook him for a little bit. Now
Bro,
Juicy back into position.
you know what I
Back on
noticed?
this
Our
B
team
side,
just
trying to lock it
use
down. This is exactly
our
where
util for no
Revenant are gonna
reason.
try send what
Like
could
we
be
use the
final
flash
round
there
of
and a
this
clone there for what? They're not even in yet, bro.
This B side of Revenant, you're first sniffing the corner with your boom bot. You're flashing over from SK Rossi, and you're sending Paradox's util with a haunt in. You're actually standardly layering in your utility to flood the site together. Great shot by Sultan started off.
Absolutely, Sultan finding a real pearl. And
What are we
Paradox definitely
doing?
Missing, but does manage to take down Juicy in the end. So it doesn't look like it's over just yet. 2 versus 4. And
I
the
swear
pit's
to-
gonna be popped by
oh
Sultan
my
as well.
God.
Great shot from Grumble, taking down SK Rossi.
Grumble
He's gonna be so low
is
in
locking
this
down
pit
because
now.
Juicy and
Sultan
Vera
can just
have
continue to
decided
kind of
today
control the
they're not
pace of
gonna
the round.
duel.
Wayne also looking to join, but it's all left on to just one singular man in Grumble. And it's going to be Viper Diff in this round specifically as Sultan finds it back. Revenant secure 5.
Yeah, well done this time for them to be able to break in. Once they get control of the site, and they've actually got, you know, a couple of these key locations.
Like,
already
I know
figured
it's
out. They know
12-5,
that
but
there's
I'm
no point starting
worried.
to come down anymore.
Because
They get
our
in,
team has
they
been
get a little
throwing
bit of
like
awkwardness, manage
crazy
to find those first 2 opening
today.
kills for sure, but then they deep push with the pit, right? You really want to be forcing Disguise to go through the pit before they can have a chance to take any of the battles. So I really do like that from Revenant, but you look towards the flip side and you're still seeing, you know, a pit online for Grumble, a relocation on the From the Shadows from Wayne, and that pit is going to be used immediately down from Disguised.
I don't trust it even if we have a 12-0
lead.
lead.
Have that to be used to start to gather some information for a pit.
Playing this up so close. It's always a very spooky one because Grumble should get that clear, should get that info straight away.
This
and
guy
that's what
challenged the
happened, and it's
Viper.
gone down already in Sultan. Now it's going to be the ultimate, the showstopper.
Oh my God, Grumble.
Yes,
What
they
a
do.
hero. He
Grumble might get
sacrificed
2 there,
his
but at least
life.
The pit is dropped, and that gives an opportunity back to Revenant.
They're none the wiser. They are none the wiser of what Wayne is doing. This is new tech that he hasn't showcased to us so far in this map. There goes the spike as well. And things
Okay, it's
start to
4v1
crumble
and I'm
for
still
Revenant. All
nervous.
down to DOS9 in a 1 versus 4.
Clutch time, Dust 9. You've shown
Mas.
how good you can
Oh
be.
my God, we won a
Unfortunately,
game in
it's gonna be your
Ascension.
head clean off your shoulders this time. Wayne making it work.
We won
And
a
Disguised,
game.
As I said, after a
At
very
least
scrappy low, that's a very
we won a game.
uncomfortable map that we've witnessed. They do manage to clear it out, and you've got to be
Holy.
happy if you're a Disguised fan right now. But for Revenant, you sort of caught reeling a little bit because, you know, the first map was such an interesting one. It really sort of put the spotlight on some weaknesses of Disguised and strengths for Revenant, at least in their individual consistency to find those impact moments. But this time was just a completely different ball game. Revenant didn't have much of an opportunity in it. I felt like for most of it, they had a couple of
Game
moments. Really, it's how many times
3.
they go
My
down to a
heart
1v1,
can't take
2v1
it. I'm
Komodo.
gonna die at
But
a
yeah,
very
just
young
much better for Disguised
age.
this time round is all I can really put it down to.
No, I absolutely agree with you, and I think if you look back at this VOD as well, I think there's a lot to pick up for the successes of the side of Revenant, but more importantly for somebody like Skills on the roster at the moment, back in towards the kind of position where he is on an island by himself a lot of times, and that was abused by Disguise. You're looking how they're actually maneuvering around the map and how they're looking to clear out certain positions to mitigate Skills' utility, SK Rossi's utility. The only round really that we were showing SK Rossi actually deliver something was when he had that operator, right? So I think you're looking at it, there was a massively clear, decisive game plan in this map for how Disguised wanted to play Bind to also exploit the 2 maps that we've already seen come through from Revenant.
Absolutely. It was all the Disguised camp this time round. There's still plenty that they need to go through and kind of break down to make sure they can take this one through, because Revenant now have a chance to reset and refocus, but Disguised can do the exact same thing. So we're going to send it back to the panel to break it all down, and then we'll be back with map number 3 very, very soon.
Well, you got your wish, didn't you guys? You suddenly have another 3rd map into Ascent as well. And Dax is like, hey, didn't I just see this a little bit earlier? But Conky, you're absolutely right. This is a chance for both teams to reset. And I do wonder where the momentum is going to swing this time around. Is this guy's going to take it and run with it? Or is it going to fall back to Revenant? Because, like, as we saw there, Disguise had a very, very dominant map here. That's
it's like we have
Not
the same
dominant
thing
enough,
for
man.
best of threes that go
Come
through.
on, guys.
One absolute banger at the very start with overtime. So
No,
dominance from one team
come
into the
on.
second.
We gotta
So I'm
do
expecting
it.
another
We gotta
close
do it,
stuff
guys.
here.
Grumble,
how
thank
is
you for
that?
holding it down.
I'm expecting it to be
Vera,
close to the third
Juicy.
half, but this one not as close as Revenant
I'm thinking they
would
got
like.
paid
There was one
by the
thing I
enemy
wrote
team.
immediately after I saw round number 1 about Styron swapping over to Gecko. I put down, he can now shoot. I mean, look at the Gecko, right? You have more post-plant utility with Mosh Pit as well as the Thrash, but just putting that wingman down and then sending it off, and now he can go along with the rest of the team. DSG feeling a lot more synergized coming into this one. And not only that, I do feel like for Revenant, there's some good ideas there from the defense. DOS9 especially. I like the fact that he's using his utility to try and cancel the wingman. DSG scrambled to make their way towards the spike and still get it. But in the end, it's just not enough. And also, that big lead. Revenant a lot stronger on the attacking side rather than defense. And they couldn't get as many chances as they would like on the preferred side. Because of how DSG started.
Rumble!
Yeah, and we have to give it to Grumble. I mean, Conky and Komodo were right. They kept saying his name over and over again just because he kept giving those kills. And as I mentioned, Dax, I'm a Grumble fan. This is exactly why. I mean, he's just able to, he's not only able to frag out, but the way he positions himself is just so clever that it puts him into, a big advantage to be able to get those kills.
Yeah, and Grumble has been so consistent throughout the series, throughout every kind of Disguise run. What is more than what he's done already? But I also want to give a big shout to how Wayne has been playing this game too. There were times where Wayne was just fragging out. You remember that last round, playing outside of Shower, just lifted on up. He gets 2 kills, but also most importantly, he kills the wingman, makes it so difficult for Revenant to try and find the plant in the desperate scenario. And there was also round 8, if I remember correctly, from Wayne. 3 ultimates burned by Revenant. Wayne still plays from heaven, gets the final 2 for a 4K. DSG right now locked and loaded, and I feel like they're a little bit angry that they lost that first map to begin with.
Yeah, I can feel it too. I can feel the kind of like, okay, this isn't gonna happen again, especially from Styron. I kind of sense this new motivation from him into this map, like, okay, I'm not letting this go again. You cut to halftime, you see him actually, talking to his team, and it comes out, right? We're gonna see if that indeed does continue going into our third map of the entire Ascension. Going to be Ascent. Good job, production. Pat yourselves on the back. We made it this far, but we're gonna take a little break first, and then we're gonna come to the conclusion of our day when we return.
Fellas, what would you consider a success with this DSG roster? I already considered it a success. We made it to Ascension, which was the goal this year. bando. Guess the song one instrument at a time. 250 million views, released in 2010. Skip. Skip. What's this, California Girls? No, anything for throw your glass up, right? It's by Pink. Pink. Raise your glass. Yeah. Then we can play Fudo. No, not Fudo. What's the food one? Dishto? Food guesser. There it is. Oh, rice, flour, sugar, coconut, pandan leaves. Pandan? There's only one country that I know that eats pandan. Philippines. No. Not Philippines? South of Philippines? Vietnam? South of Vietnam? Indonesia? Oh, that's crazy. My team's in Indonesia right now. Look at this. Lamb, onions, potatoes, carrots, bell peppers, tomatoes, garlic, water, salt. Meat and vegetables. There's some European shit, no? Greece. Cool. East of Greece. Mongolia. Warm. West of Mongolia. East of Greece. Russia. Borders of Russia. Czech Republic. Ukraine. Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Kazakhstan. Chocolate, sugar, cocoa butter. Tops off breakfast items with a delightful crunch. Bread with chocolate? What the? Italy? France? North of France. Germany. Borders on Germany. I don't know. Netherlands? Oh, Netherlands.
But there's also another way Revenant can take this. We've seen a double duelist effectively from the two Kazakhs. So do we get another swap of agent roles here coming into Ascent from the side of Revenant?
That's exactly what I'm wondering. We have the double duelist. We're gonna see it right now as we bring up the agent select, and there you have it. You're gonna have a DOS9 on the Yoru.
Double Sentinels versus double duelist.
And we have the double duelist, signature double duelist over the side of this guy.
I think it's pretty cool though that you see a variation of the Deadlock Cypher composition. Instead of having the usual jet, it's Yoru here for DOS9, and it's something that he was able to show up with in the first place. Paradox gonna be on that leg out. Cypher for SK Rossi, and honestly, SK Rossi Cypher was the one I was considering maybe to be the swap, but having that extra Yoru in the front, some flashes sure, but the entry's a little bit different. If you can get in deep with the gate crash or cause a little bit of chaos, that might be the openings here for Revenant, especially when you look at PSG, how they play the ISO. When you have Juicy getting the kill contract, they find a good angle to use it from.
I don't think I ever
This
see
is
ISO
our
in
final
competitive
game,
games.
Our final map of the day. We're gonna head into Ascent between this guy and Revenant and toss it on over to
Wait. They have 5 guys pushing. Wait, 2 guys pushing
Thank you
mid.
so much, Mika. It's a pleasure to be here at the end
Oh
of
god,
day
this
number
big
4
fight
for Valorant
on
Ascension Pacific. It's been a heater so
Tiles
far.
is gonna
And Komodo,
be
we talked a
a
little bit about
decider
it versus
here.
Naos and Riddle. It was the same old composition. It was close, but now we get something a little different, a little spicy for both the teams.
Nice, Vera. Vera's just better, man. Don't even try. Oh man, you kids do not want to go into Grumble.
Okay. Back in action. Trying to take this one as they cruise on around. 5 versus 4. A little awkward. Rotating back around, trying to look
we are
forward
kinda
to see
screwed.
what they can pick up. Because the rest of the Disguise,
Because they
they're
have
relatively
4
unmoving
people,
here.
we
They're
have
not super
5.
stressed.
And that's usually a big disadvantage for us.
No charges left.
Nice shot from Vera,
Spike down
starting us
mid.
off strong. Looking for a couple of more. I like the double swing out from them in this Cypher Lock comp as well. Want to see how far they're going to be able to actually stretch now that they have lost off 9.
Getting the paranoia out straight away to try and buy some additional time. Styron finds another one, so they're going to be able to slot back into sight nicely. Just Paradox and
30
Sultan
seconds
left
left.
in tow.
Take time,
Lane's going to
take
be
your
spotted
time.
out. They give away the information just a little bit, but they have to be so careful that they avoid the scan here. They're just still sitting inside this dark cover, looking to get that fake plant as the dark cover fades. They get the
2v1,
tag out.
2v1.
Paradox, he can find 2 here. It would be on for the ace clutch here, Komodo. Doesn't really have much utility to worry about, but it's just going to be
Yeah.
the crosshair. Great
They
pick
got
from
the
Juicy
plan,
there.
all good.
I was willing it. I wanted to see it happen. But Paradox, unfortunately, couldn't quite convert, and that's going to be DSG finding the opener here.
Nice try from him as well,
Juicy!
right? To bring it
Don't
back
do
from
that.
a near winnable
Juicy, don't do
scenario
that.
in a 2 versus 4 into the 1 versus 2 at the end. Just a couple of extra seconds, he might have been able to sleuth his way in back sight. I got to say, for those opening engagements as well from Vera, really needed to try and set up Disguise for the beginning of this round. One of the key pivotal things that Dax is mentioning as well, right, is you actually kind of want to see what DOS9 is going to be able to do on this Euro in combination with a couple of these pieces of util, specifically GravNet lineups on Paradox to set DOS9 up for a combo with a flash in, TP past the GravNet and catch them from 2 different angles is going to be impactful. I was looking at Revenant and how they were kind of meandering around the map when they were using the ISO in combination with skills as utility, and I love
this
the
is a
combos
really
that they
good spot
actually
for
had for a
Vera.
lot of counter utility control over at A, so they'll still kind of look to see what they can do, I'm hoping. But on for Disguise, they're actually doing exactly what I'm talking about right now on the ISO composition, so it's the standard kind of setup that you'll run when you've got the ISO on this map.
That's not good.
Trying to wrap around now. It's a good position to hold again, but the fake out is destroyed. Styron already finding that opener. So really just business as usual here
Spike
for
down,
Disguise.
mid.
Grumble continuing his streak. This man's a bloody demon on that Sheriff, hey. Can seriously hit some shots. And another one from Juicy, just looking a bit too easy right now. He's going to clear on in, should get the blinded shot. The double tap re-secured as well. And he just needs to check left on the way through. He spots out DOS9, and Juicy is looking way more activated here on this side.
Man's been grinding deadlock.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's going to be one of the important
game,
things
not the
when you
agent.
are a team that is so well fashioned in wanting to play on the double duel list. You kind of have to get both of them activated, right? More often than not, we've seen kind of this be Vera or Juicy. So the fact that they're already getting off at the gates really early on is going to be something nice for them to continue to go. I'm looking over towards what we can see in this gun round now to come up in this bonus round from the side of Revenant. You've actually already got the Annihilation on. So I wouldn't be surprised if we've got some really cool exploitative play to rely on that, catching one before you go in for a bit of a gate crash play from DOS9, get deep in, combo with Sultan on the Paranoia.
Nice.
But
We take that
it's not really
trade
gonna
every
work
day of
anymore
the
if
week.
You've got a mid duel that you're playing by yourself and you lose it.
At least it's a trade 1-for-1. But Sultan, obviously a very impactful member, lost. Door's going to go down. DOS9 going to try and get into position. Grumble forced away, but also caught by the scan. But he now wants to sort of try and re-peek in towards here as best as he can.
Spike planted.
Ooh, a bit of a sneak up from Grumble as well. He will be able to sneak by a couple of them. A little bit too little too late for DOS9 to get that audio cue for him.
Definitely too focused on setting the Sonic
No!
sensors right now. Now he actually does pop the Annihilation.
Wait, Staron, break him up. Break him up, Staron.
Never mind. Will they
He's
be able
out,
to
he's
destroy
out,
him?
he's freed.
Absolutely will. Staron gets it, but SK Rossi gets one back. Now Rossi, skills.
Oh my god, wait, where did the op come from?
Too close. And that was a bit too easy of a retake, I'd say, there for Disguise in this
Wait, what did...
kind of quasi-bonus
What
round.
about the op?
Nicely done from the Singaporean side as they secure a third round.
Pharaoh?
Yeah, you got an operator coming into it as well. It doesn't really stretch into a normal bonus round, does it, right? When you're able to just find that and
I thought
still gather
Juicy
impact,
did some magic,
you
turned
got
the
some
sheriff
neutral that you
into
can
an
set up
op.
from your team, but more importantly, Disguise didn't give any breathing room over towards
Oh,
Revenant
are they
to set
hard
up, and
forcing
that's
this?
kind of what you want to see for a player like Paradox in towards this one, where he really will have to have impact with these barrier measures, with these grav nets, and importantly the Sonic sensors as well. By the way, that shot from Siren, absolutely ridiculous when you're stunned, but these are the things that you need to kind of be really adaptive for when you change up your composition into a map like Ascent that is, you know, one of these maps that has
Ooh,
the same
good
composition
forcing.
for so damn long.
Okay, here's what I don't get about...
Great
Well, actually, no,
patience
that
and
that
as
vulnerable
well,
makes
but yeah,
sense.
just to be able to push through.
Nice,
it's kinda
Vera. Good
crazy. Vera
patience.
spotting out Sultan. I don't know. It's looking a little bit disjointed so far for Revenant, which makes me sad because we've seen such good signs. But it is still early days, so I'm not going to call it, not going to worry too much, because one team's kind of failure in a way is another team's success. Like, if Disguise is able to win by absolutely pulling apart Revenant, I'm okay with it, right? Because it means they've got some serious momentum into the rest of the competition.
Yeah, for sure. Just got to feel like for Sultan at the moment, try not to lose your life at the very beginning, especially when
This
you get those
Revenant
rifles,
team
right?
just
That's
really
2 in a
loves
row now
half
that you've
buying.
been gone, and it makes it more difficult for your team to go for a hit together. You are really more relying upon something from DOS9, an overextension and an overwhelming force.
One
Still got
way,
2 players here from
scan.
Disguise with some great set of utilities. I mean, you're going up against Grumble on Cypher. He's so proficient on this agent for a
30
specific reason.
seconds.
They're going to try to clear out everything. Already getting that spot, already getting that info. Juicy bringing one in towards the kill contract as well. Wait, did he
He got the
just
fake out.
die in the middle of it? Yeah.
Oh, he
Come
altered
up,
a
didn't even
clone.
notice. That's great. What a play. Good bait out of the utility there, but SK Rossi,
I
15
was
seconds,
so
has to try and do a little
confused.
bit too much.
I'm like, did he
As Siren
already
will close
kill
as well.
him?
So four
I know he's
alive
good,
for
but is
Disguise.
he that
Money's
good?
looking pretty decent. It's not as good as it could be. You know, the damage is being done by Revenant
Wait,
at the end of
isn't
the day.
Yoru
but,
the
you know, they're
ultimate
making their way
ISO
towards some
counter gen?
ultimates. They've already got the Neural Theft, the Hunter's Fury, a couple away from the Blades. And for Revenant, unfortunately, they're just still feeling the financial woes right now of, Disguise just putting the pressure on and playing some pretty decent Valorant. It's locking them
Yeah.
out and making it really hard to get into these rounds.
I remember when
Are they finally
you know,
saving?
ISO
My
counter
God,
first
they're
came
just-
out,
they're
one of
just
the
al-
picked up
they've never-
counters
they-
was picking a
Revenant
Yoru
never
for the
full
fake outs,
saves.
try and get them. That wasn't even
It's
really
always
the full
like-
intention of DOS9 at that point in time, because you have Sultan losing his life. You're throwing it there to be a distractor to get in towards the site. So for
It's
Juicy,
always something.
it's just a
It's
little
always
bit
a
funny that
sheriff
that's how-
or a
that's how
stinger
it
or light
eventuates.
armor.
Short. Juicy going to be able to hit that shot. So no stress. Once again, you know, they're just playing this buddy system. I like that they're going kind of together.
Bro,
Skills,
bro's
that's
getting...
awkward. Vera straight into his crosshairs.
What
I
is
mean, The
happening?
barrier mesh made it a little uncomfortable for like a split second, but...
Get the guns, get the sheriff, get the shorties.
The leg onto him. Or is that Juicy? Nah, Juicy instead. But that's okay, because again, it's just another...
The guy
fun
was
round where
droning
Disguise are
as
kinda
he
just
was
holding
getting
W a little bit.
Cypher
They're feeling a bit
ulted
more
at
comfortable.
the doorway.
This is kind of more what I was expecting from them as we came into this competition, but they've been picked apart by a couple of these other teams.
Absolutely. And you're going to have to see a little bit more coordination from Revenant as well, because they are running onto this Cypher Lock combo. You have to kind of see a little bit more emphasis on how Sultan is going to be situating with his team, right? You have to have some important layering down on these dark covers, on the flash as well, because you don't really have, you know, the smoke ability that the Jet will be offering to you to get into the site, which we'll see when the change up is there, right? You kind of do have to have a lot more priority on this utility getting on through. If you're Revenant, the hard part is actually going to be getting in towards these sites. If you are in there and you're allowing, you know, your deadlock to set up these sonic sensors, you're allowing your team to just set up properly for a post plant, that's going to be the avenue of success. So I'll flip it back over to the fact that Disguise, it feels like to me, have already recognized when they see this comp that that is going to be something that Revenant are going to try and get. It's why you're seeing these mid peaks work to success. They're going for them early to see if there's any tendencies that they can exploit. Over on the side of Revenant, it is a tendency that Revenant generally like to have one player either Lurkentiles or top mid. general just dissent things. So the fact that when you're on Disguise, you're already just being given these win factors by Revenant, you're laughing.
And they're just already starting to feel the pressure. You know, calling for those pauses, trying to get the conversation out nice and early. Because it is rough when you feel like you start to lose it out a little bit in the agent selection, right? That's where this game is getting to over time. It's not always the case, right? You can't exactly look at every single agent composition unless you're playing 4 or 5 duelists, right? Then it gets a bit concerning. But it's not like every single change is a bad one. But this time right now, it is looking like it is a bit lackluster, as you mentioned.
Just again, the menacing standard utility that is actually coming through from Disguise. The one
Damn,
Styron. The back of it. There's just no way that you're getting past this brutality.
Wait, killing an Omen with Silva alt seems illegal.
Strategy over towards A main, but when you find an opening pick, again on Sultan.
It's like, bro, just TP away.
Yeah,
it makes
that's
it
what I was
so
about to say.
so difficult for Revenant to get back into these rounds when they've lost Sultan.
Such an impact player. Him or DOS9.
They're missing smokes now.
Already starting to feel
So
like
our
he's got
op has a lot of
lesser
value.
impact on the Yoru. It's rough.
No.
As I say that.
When you can get back into this, and now if you don't have smokes, you got to use the dimensional drift to try and piece together some sort of information for your team to get back into
Who's?
Oh, but
ambitious?
Vera.
Wait, does that use up his ult?
He
He
did
popped the
too.
dimensional drift, yeah. That's gone now completely. And Paradox, at least he is going to be able to find one off the back of the grab net, and the Annihilation doesn't quite connect.
3v3.
So the barrier mesh will go up. Gonna try and hold on for as long as possible, but it's immediately deleted, denied. For 3v3.
And now you set yourself up for the post plant where you've got skills on a Hunter's Fury, and look what you're actually competing against. An Operator for Vera, Styron on an Odin. You
Guys,
have a
we need
fight
time. We
with
need to
Disguise
get
as
this.
well, so how you
We
actually
need to
outplay
get this
skills.
ult out.
Just going to start to run on in from here. It's going to be a thing of where Revenant, if they can hold on for a little while longer, they may be going to be okay as Revenant. Paradox gets another. They're taken down quickly.
Tap it, tap it, tap it, tap it.
In this flank. Again, getting in towards the site, finding that position. Hunter's Fury now coming out. It narrowly misses the
Tap it,
target.
tap it, tap it.
And as it does start to shoot on now, he's just looking to tag it up, and he does get taken. Yeah, what? They've got no time. It's fine. But that's rough. Way
Aw,
to go.
man.
A round win with 0 alive.
Cypher, Cypher got hit by the second one. We needed to dodge the second one, and then we tanked the third one.
If you're SK Rossi, all you can do is laugh that off because your team got the win in one of the most unfortunate circumstances, because it's what you mentioned. There's no guns surviving. You have not built up any economy going into these rounds as well, right? So you're down to light shields to get majority of your utility back. I do like individualistically that Paradox has the GravNet lineup for the back of Dice, is able to stretch out and get the kill when you've got skills dart laning at the same time, right? So
Oh my God, Wayne.
for these executes, but they're never allowed to just set them up cleanly.
Jesus.
Crazy, isn't it? Like, you're versing the most elite aim crew at this point in time. Wayne has been amazing throughout the entirety of this series, right? There's been no doubting that. Grumble probably the best so far of the rest of them when it comes to impact and performance, but Wayne has just been all reliable, and then, you know, Vera and Juicy have kind of been sprinkled on the top.
Nice
In
timing.
their time, Vera has been absolutely popping off here. You can just tell how calm and collected he is.
Oh,
We talked about
damn.
Sultan dying
Who's
first.
this guy,
Now
Neo
he's
from the
alone in a
Matrix?
1v5.
Yeah, well, let's see if he can bring out some vintage gunplay. I think he's been really absent on this map so far, and I don't even think really that's too much of his own credit, right? Because he has just been isolated in some of these unfortunate scenarios by himself, whether it be top mid, whether it be through that Hunter's Fury combination with the rest of the utility from DSG. Just 9 times out of 10, the way Disguised are finding these opening kills literally are the round deciders, it feels. The first few moments, and it's kind of too difficult for Revenant to get back in.
30 seconds.
Cruising on up, does get one. Again, you know, even though the fight's in hand, does have the From the Shadows.
I'm surprised he
Vera's
didn't try
gonna
and save the
connect
gun.
anyway. So it's a nice, easy shot there from the Jet on the Operator. Again, continuing this charge. He's been so clean with it as soon as we've swapped over here, Komodo, to the map of Ascent. And every single member, I only just saw a quick blink of the frag department, but I'm pretty sure it's like 7 to 9, you know, through the whole thing, right? Every single player is getting their picks, getting their shift, getting their rotations. Okay, not quite, but 4 to 8 I think is still a pretty good disparity, right? Because 7, 7, 8, 8 is not bad at all. And Wayne, his 4, an extra 2 was off the back of that opening pick too.
The fact that you've got these one-ways that are just really conditioning Revenant to be protective around A main, you're backing it up with peeks through main itself, with utility combinations, with undercuts at the beginning and delayed. It really makes it difficult for Revenant to get a good sense of a split over towards A as well. You know, SK Rossi playing Lurk, which he was telling us earlier on, he's really happy to be switching on to this Cypher role as well, to be able to play with a little bit more of his individuality, find a lot more of these individual timings. It's just completely been null and voided in this map.
Oof.
For once, we actually
leg.
at least don't get a death on the Revenant side in the very beginning of the round, but it is a round where you're with lesser weaponry. So how do you still get back in towards this one?
Man, it's just slow
Walking
peeking.
straight into it. Just not a care in the world, is there? Full comfort for Disguised. Revenant just looking like they're not working together at this point in time. Maybe the last couple of rounds have gotten to them a little bit. Vera's managed to reposition again. Even drops the Cloudburst, even wants to get out.
Blast him, Styron. Blast him with the Odin.
Bit of a highlight moment, but
Oh no, he needs an hour to reload. Someone cover him.
and they're going to be coming this way anyway because look, Wayne's in trying to get a peek. And now they're just going to have to walk straight out into the crosshair of Vera, hey?
It certainly is the numbers game that Disguised are playing at the moment. It's always together in numbers and backing out when you've got the advantage. And now, I mean, again, it's just
Whoa,
pick up
actually
a little
pretty
bit of
sick of
slack.
that
Nice
lock to
couple of
walk
shots
on
to
head
come through
tap.
from the Revenant guys there, but at the end of it, it's another round over towards Disguised, who have just not been dislodged. Where Revenant have had really any advantage so far, this has to be the round where you're converting it over. Try and funnel in the ultimate orb in towards Paradox. Go in with a from the shadows idea for information. Get the annihilation working. You gotta sloop together some early information, but you're just not dying in the first couple of seconds.
Yeah, definitely right. I don't know, man. It's just so hard to kind of ponder about how they can change this. You know me, I'm the most positive guy. I love an underdog story. I actually tipped Revenant to win this one. You know, I got a little bit of confidence given by one of their previous matches, and I don't know, now it's just kind of not happening for them. And when you're looking at it and you're very much trying to understand the macro of what's going on, there's just not much to go off of what Revenant are throwing, and they take another pause to try and have that conversation. Hopefully they can work it out here, because if they don't, I start to think about talking about saying goodbye to Revenant.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say it again, right? I was so extremely
Don't
excited
get cocky,
for this
guys.
series
The
getting a
defense
bind
on
map
Ascent,
be
you're
played
supposed to
again
be up by a
because of
lot.
How I love the way that Revenant
You need
have
at
played
least
Rapid Lo-Fi,
12
how
on
distracted they were in
defense
the beginning
on
against
Ascent to feel
Simpresa
comfortable.
until Simpresa actually
And
realized
we
how they
can't get
needed to
12 anymore.
come and play to exploit the strengths of what Revenant were, which, you know, if we look at it, right, we didn't see on towards Bind because Disguised have done their homework in towards it. You think about the first map, right? You think about all these deficit conversions that Revenant were able to pull back. Disguised were dropping a lot of those rounds, right? Where is all of these scenarios right now? What has Disguised figured out between the first map into the second and third now that has completely just pushed Revenant out of this server? That's what they need to really have a thought of right now. And I mean, you're going up against a composition that, you know, was kind of expected, right? There's been 5 times that this comp has been played by the side of Disguise. So you've done your homework, you've got your history on how they like to play around this map. And so far, nothing you've employed has worked.
Tricky situation to be dealing with in a reality. We are going to have that time tick down and reset in just a second. So it's a very, very quick start in the round. It was a late timeout called on the pause. And DOS9, this time has been
jumping
given
straight
the
into
control.
it. Okay.
Well, if they start to extend over through mid, though, you do have that pizza camera that Grumble has set up, and you've also cleared all of B main. So you've got to consider for Revenant, do they take this B main space? Do we think that they're going to go in there for a bit of a crunch stopper? There's A main that's been taken for control for Disguised as well. Meanwhile, Paradox is on an island by himself over there. So if you're Revenant, do you actually have a really good idea that you do just want to go in for a B split at this current time?
And they're also double
You have to
double
reset a
sentinel,
minute on the clock
so
now.
they're
You need to
way
dislodge
better
Vera off
on
this line.
defense.
And really, the only way is a good blind side. You've already used that fake out, or you're droning him off, darting him off.
Little shoulder peek. Vera this
Okay,
time
that'll
has
do
been
the job.
spotted. Yeah, absolutely.
Wait,
Sends him back to Wine.
he's going to
And he's gonna
wine?
actually try sit here because it looks like Wayne's going to join.
What?
Diago is going to be taken out. And also
Jesus, he actually did it.
He's there.
The madman
So Shaq,
actually went to
Boss Knight down
wine.
again, has been limited in his impact this time round.
No
Him and Sultan have just
way
not
he
been
went to
able go
wine.
the tear that they did on Lotus.
It's so risky because if you get detected,
yes, you do get your
you're
annihilation
stuck.
for Paradox, but you've got no entry in. You've got the rotations coming for DSG.
It's her territory. It's her rules.
Holding that line, Annihilation goes out, but it's Vera to get another shot, and he wants to pop
No,
out.
someone
Goes for the
free my
wave.
boy.
Annihilation is still holding on, so it looks like he is
Bah.
ultimately going to go down here, Juicy. So an opportunity back now. They do get the catch on the Sonic sensor. Grumble, Star, and last two standing in this 3-on-2 situation. It's going to be a toughie as they try to clear this out and shoulder it.
Smoke available for Sultan as well. Drop it at the one-way or just for the time to be bought. Grumble starts to get on in. The train
Ooh,
to
this
go.
Paradox
Oh,
guy.
lower 4K. Yes, finally, we get something back for Revenant.
Are we back, chat? We're so back. That's all I'm saying right now.
This is bad.
Massive, though,
This is
individual
bad.
performance from Paradox, who stands so far above the rest of his team, 10 and 8 on this deadlock. He's caught a couple on the Annihilation already so far. The Sonic sensors under Heaven have been really, really well placed. But overall,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just been so hard when the rest of the team is lagging behind a little bit. But that's great shots to come out from Paradox.
It's funny because it's one of those ultimates as well, the Annihilation, that if you see an opponent, you can ricochet it off a lot of these positions on a map like Ascent to be able to catch your opponent. I mean, you can grav net them first as well, you can recon, you can drone. Like, there's just so many different angles that you can play it from. So I'm surprised that Paradox has unfortunately been able to miss a couple of them in this map to get
They
them
have
in.
Silver Alpha post
But
plan
where
as
needed,
well.
I mean, look, in the Silver Light, you've got a 7-5 possibility.
Definitely so. You'd start
What the
to
hell
believe
is
that
this?
A little bit more utility, you know, the double senti makes it a much more challenging approach for DSG. Now Dostine
All right, Master Wayne.
will be vulnerable by the
They're coming to your house, Master Wayne.
Wayne needs to
The villains of Gotham.
Really good scan here. Wayne's
Oh,
gonna be able to
God,
free fire, but it doesn't quite connect
no.
for him. Skill's able to find that frag. Vera, though, repositions, gets one, gets two. Somehow, Vera's still alive, but he's taken down.
Time out, time out. We
Also
need a time out.
doing
This is
the
so
same
bad.
thing.
This is actually really bad now.
Okay, they're back.
Yeah, so much better from them
We need
in
a
this
timeout.
scenario as well, right? Up the guts of mid with the smoke down bottom mid, so no one dies immediately. No positional advantage for Disguise. No flanking maneuvers from them either. Just this time together for a split in towards the site. A missed shot on that operator as well, but you don't get hesitant as Revenant when you see those bodies there and when you see that you're still smoked out of main. You go together as a unit when the smoke phase. Everyone knows what
This is
angles that they
scary.
have to be
If this
watching.
ends
You don't even
7-5,
have a priority
we're
to
in
get
trouble.
the plant down at that point in time. It's just making sure that you're putting the containment field around the site because you already know that Disguise have gone for these rotations. They already are there as quick. And if you're fumbling to get a spike down when there's still a pretty decent amount of time left on the clock, that's what upsets you. So Revenant, they're not shaken, I feel, just yet. That round shows us this.
Good time for attack timeout though, right? You know, not letting them string too many rounds together. That's only 2 in a row that they found, and then coach calls the pause. Perfect time to just reset. You know, I don't think there's really much that needs to be said for Disguised on how we reapproach the changes to the positions or, you know, switch up the macro. I think it's all going well for them. It's just that Revenant have managed to find a bit of a breakthrough on A the last couple of rounds. So maybe a little bit of a shift, but not much more otherwise than just, all right, guys, you know, we've missed a couple of shots. Let's reset, re-go.
As I said, 7-5. Is it looking plausible? The economy is resettable on the back of this round if Revenant are able to find it. Such a large investment as well when you consider that Disguised are going in with these Odins and these operators every single time. They want Vera to be propped up on his favored weapon here because there's not too much of a shot down that Revenant can throw at him. You're not running the KO alongside the Sova here, right? So you are actually having to put a little bit more bodies towards these duels.
Look at this. DOS9 just straight in there this time. Looks like the rest of the team are going to at least try to follow, but Wayne, Grumble able to find those openers. SK Rossi does get the trade, but Vera
Good timeout.
able to
Good
find them
timeout.
back very, very
Wow,
quickly, and now
wait,
Paul and
this
Paradox
deadlock just runs out of the
as
smoke
the
with
rest
his
of
gun like,
team.
yo,
Little
what's
bit
up?
there, you
That's
know, almost kinda
crazy.
marching
That's
one
crazy
by
that the
one,
deadlock
but
tried that.
Straight into the open arms of DSG. The pause does exactly what they need, but it's a shift up from Revenant in their approach of what they wanted to do and how they wanted to take a site, and it didn't quite work out for them.
I'm just trying to think to myself as well, how long has SK Rossi held on to this neural theft? There's not a lot of locations that they've actually been able to drop that one down. Head on a swivel, quick rotations though from Disguise over to this B site. When the dimensional drift essentially was ripped, they immediately booked it over. They knew that there was no fake being sold. They knew that's where the round was eventuating. Now we got the 9th looking to be found for Disguise, but a 4th desperately needed for Revenant.
Aldrin up over the top, trying to get that extra info. Here's the double tap. Now there's the kill contract going out. Who does he find? Gonna be
No,
Big Man Skills.
Juicy, you
He does
can't
actually get
lose
the catch.
those.
Just 9 will be flashed away.
No
Okay,
way,
he's
you
gonna get
can't
an
lose
advantage
those
too.
either.
Good for the trade, but now he has so much extra to do here.
Okay, Staron wins that. Okay, 3v3, 3v3.
In the process.
God, guys,
They are
lock
only back
in.
to this 3-on-3. So Revenant, despite having a
2v2.
good start, Grumble really making it hard for them. Still down to
Yeah.
the 2-on-2 though, so it's winnable for both these teams.
I feel like that was a bit of an overexertion from him as well, because there's nobody surrounding A. You've still got Paradox
That's
alive
both,
as well.
that's
with full
Bofa.
set of utility.
You hear
You can buy
Bofa.
so much time with a wall up towards heaven. You can set up your sonic sensors in your grav net. The door though, however, not shut. Already gone. That one way though is Chi here that time from Sultan. That is actually
Yeah.
a key piece of utility here to buy time for Paradox to set up this util.
And Paradox, again, he's been such an important member of the team into this one. Vera just watching the line for as long as possible, trying to see if it gets shifted out, and just trying to bait out that sonic sensor as well. Styron, he's got so much to do here, and it's awkward as well. That goes out. It's going to be Vera to hit the shot. He waits long enough for that smoke to go down. Now it's all on the Sultan. Sitting under hell, just continuing to hold it. He has to try clear this up nice and high, and it's just so tricky. He gets off it.
Yes!
Very fast enough, though.
Yes!
Oh, man, the merit there for Vera.
Yes,
Sultan
please, thank you.
finally gets an impact.
Holy.
3K, but it's not enough.
Good hold
despite
by
being
Mr.
subdued anyway.
Styron.
But all I'm saying is, Komodo, 9-3, cursed half, defense-sided Paradox roster. Can we play the narrative? Can we play the script that way? That's what they gave us.
I mean, I look at it for what we saw in the, we'll call it the minute gameplay occurrences that we saw for Ascent, for Split 2, Stage 2 for Revenant. Their attacker side was their more favored side. We know how proficient Disguised was with that 6-0 unanswered flawless run on Ascent. They're posturing up more than 70% of rounds gathered on both of the sides. So statistically, it is still that uphill climb that Revenant need to come through. And I also think about in that 2 versus 2 scenario as well, right? The distractor that Dart actually plays for to allow the operator line from Vera to just get held, right? You can see Paradox was looking to try and deny it to buy a little bit of time to not get revealed. And you're always going to have to understand that as well, right? So just 9 times out of 10, Disguised, right utility, put at the right spot where the situation calls for it.
Just a crazy sort of prospect right now. I remind you guys all watching along at home, one of these teams will be saying goodbye to. And one of these teams will be making it one step closer to Britama Arena. In only a few days' time, we've got one more left of the kind of non-arena stage. Tomorrow, we'll find out who will be joining the playoffs. As that lower bracket run continues, Simprisa already there, full sense joining them.
Again, I'm
Big
just thinking to
games.
myself as well, right? Big games indeed, but you still have to face Boom for whoever wins this
Oh,
series.
yeah, man, my God.
Like, you still think about, the hometown heroes making, again, another appearance at an Ascension, right?
They are a scary opponent no matter which way you look at it. Have always been such a big name in esports, Boom.
Yeah. Well, we got a new half to be presenting. Let's see what the pistol is going to entail for us, because this lineup for Revenant, I mean, when you're running 2 Senties, right, you would expect it generally to be a little bit stronger on this defensive side, whereas opposed for Disguise, the double duelist, a little bit more fast and heavy around the map. But it's a bit slower for them at the beginning of this one.
Just need to see that impact again from Sultan DOS9, right? They've had a couple of moments, but really, we need all the members who are slow to start on Lotus to pick back up here as well. They cannot let the double duelist overwhelm them from Disguised. Otherwise, they'll really be packing their bags up sad.
This is so patient from Revenant as well. There's such a priority on
There's
their
so
utility,
much
doing a lot of the
defensive
distracting and
utility.
stalling. I feel like coming in towards a round such as this, Siren does have one shock dart still available. If you can try and clear some little pieces of utility, you yourself are up towards the tree line. And I'm looking at Revenant. You know, they're not really budging. They're not adjusting. They're waiting for a lot of this utility to start to come down from Disguised.
Spotted out. Good dink up onto Vera.
Oh, thank God.
He's putting that pressure on,
30
making it
seconds left.
awkward. As now the contingency comes out. DOS9 trying to get back on towards the side. It's going to be Paradox to find another opener. Again, the impact coming through from him, but Juicy...
In the smoke, in the smoke,
does
in the
take him
smoke,
down. Now
in the
DOS9 back
smoke,
into
in the
top cover,
smoke!
double tap in the smoke, but Starren will find him. That cover not quite good enough to keep
Get
them
the plant,
safe.
get the
but
plant, get the
Skills
plant.
comes in, and that's all of the Starren in the 1 versus 3 here, trying to get that spike planted, and he's not even going to be able to. Komodo has to
Do
go back
we
into
not
the
stick the
and will get
plant
swung upon
there?
by
Fuck.
Revenant. And they start what could potentially be a journey towards success here on this defensive side.
Yeah, I mean, we saw in the previous maps as well that Revenant are the ones that like to bleed down the time really low before they go for their executes, right? This time it's Disguise starting to clear a lot of this utility as well, right? You're going to be a little bit more paranoid where these
I
sonic
can't believe
sensors
this
are
guy
gonna be
got-
placed,
like,
where these trap
Juicy-
wires are
I
gonna
think
be
Juicy
placed.
shoulda killed
A lot
him.
of times you see these Cypher lock combos, you actually do sometimes see the
Like,
switch-ups
we
from
gotta be pushing
having
that
one of these
smoke
sentinels
together.
on both sides of the map to actually
We
double
always just
deploying
do
them
one by
and
one.
getting a
We need to-
stronghold position on one of these sides and leaning a little bit more towards mid, leaning a little bit more towards tree specifically sometimes as well. Right now, though, nothing too untoward from how Revenant have been playing on just, you know, that pistol round and even this strategy in towards this secondary round.
Couple of warning shots from DOS9. Skills, though,
Spike
lining
down,
them up.
mid. One
That's
enemy
beautiful from
remaining.
Skills. 3 frags to boot, and SK Rossi getting a couple as well. They're eco frags, Komodo, but you have no idea, guys, watching along at home, how important eco frags are in a match of this caliber, right? It's
Oh,
either
yeah.
you lose and you go home, or you win and you face up against Boom. Both are terrifying prospects, to be fair, but... You know, getting those steps forward. This is what you work
Double
towards all year.
sentinels
This is what you
against
grind
Ascent
for. And getting
defense.
that
This is
little
gonna be hard.
confidence boost to pick you up when you might be down is a huge play. So 5 rounds now. Good bonus looking economy. They got to fight the fight hard here if you're Revenant.
Same deployment again, where you've got Paradox and Sultan over towards the A site with
Nice,
deeper one
Juicy.
ways and just the positioning.
Oh
but
my
right now,
God.
that is just an immediate "I'm better" moment from Juicy.
Yeah. I think you could say that against, you know, a lot of players in the world, Juicy. When it comes to aim and fundamentals.
Just now thinking as well, for what Revenant are doing over at A, how long do they want to rotate these one-way smokes over there as well and put more of an emphasis back towards short, because there's a bit of a sneak up from Disguised there. It's a great dispatchment of Juicy, actually. Equalize us up for this bonus round, and the duel now Mitch around this door.
It's going to be
Spike
awkward. The
down
gravity
A.
net goes out well, but the paranoia does catch back. Sultan at least able to make it work for just a second, but now he has to pop under hell. And Vera's going to be ready for him. Surely he has the inkling as to where this man is right now. And he's going to see the little Tootsie Twos from the bottom. But will Vera keep his focus there for too long? He's actually been missed out here. Vera does get
Nice
tagged, but he's taken
crumble.
quickly. However, when you grumble, it's not really going to matter because that man is consistent to a T. And Disguised pick up their 10th round here. I think you mentioned in the previous half, Komodo, they would need at least the first and the second round, but maybe not the bonus if they can recoup themselves. They've lost the bonus. They've got the full buy-in here. This is the chance, and probably the final one, to really give themselves a good crack to win this.
Yeah, and I'm actually seeing Skills run away from the 100.
Oh my
skills as well.
God.
So if you've got that going
Concussed
into the
headshot?
first round where bonus is done, you've got your strong buy actually, and you're a team that, as Revenant, you've got the stalling ability from these Sentinels at the very beginning. You've got, you know, a Hunter's Fury into the mix if a post plant does go down where you lose the sites, because you don't necessarily need to have all of your utility be doing stuff on the site, right? Some of it just at some key locations can just be a bit of a protector that you know that no one snuck on past the trap wire or ran past the sonic sensor, right? Again, however, I will highlight that this barrier wall has gone down towards short for the 3rd time. Now it can be destroyed a little bit earlier in the mix. That will put a little bit more of a problem onto Sultan, onto Paradox, who have pushed into main.
So just cut sound again. They're happy to destroy. They're happy to get that extra control. Our drone in to clear out short. But they're falling away. They're not super keen on that one towards the A site right now. And you
There's
can tell
so
that
much
they're already on the
util.
back foot. Just going to be,
Yeah.
again, eyes onto SK Rossi to see how much he can hold here.
Well, you do have him following
guys
back
walking
towards
on
the site with
site.
skills. Try and play with this Stinger up close. You've got immediate rotation starting to come through as well. Sub 30 seconds before the plant even starts to get in towards the site.
So rough too. You can see where Skills wants to play, but it's just such a hard position to be in. And look, Dosline, at the very least, he'll be able to find one because Rossi didn't die just yet. Still going to be able to keep on kicking for now, but that
Nice.
coming out and he checks the
Good
wrong
patience
way.
on the Cypher ult.
All left on.
3v1, this is scary,
Just
this is
Sultan.
scary.
1 versus 3.
You know, that's a painful position as well for Grumble there. With that neural theft, he's able to really upset you.
Cover going out.
Sultan, were you expect a player at that at this current position?
Nice,
He's been
left
spotted
a
out.
little-
Just good crossfires.
Left a little sliver there.
Think about it as well, Mitch. Had that neural theft not gone off
Okay,
from
they're on
Grumble,
eco, which
would
is scary
Dos
for
9
us.
been able to get one and get out,
They
or
have
dance
killed us
around
on
that
eco a
smoke?
couple times
Yeah, I
to
think
get really
maybe.
aggressive
I
with it.
definitely think that's a possibility, right? But all I can say is, like, hero, MVP, Lord of Disguised, Grumble. This man has been putting in absolute work. Just the amount of impact he has found on these Sentinels every single map. And I even throw it back to Lotus when they had a pretty hard loss. Grumble was still there, doing it all for the team. Now it's onto a really
Nice
tough
dodge.
time.
Oh,
here
he's
for
gonna
Revenant.
ult someone here.
Yeah.
It's gonna slip
I
the
mean-
wickets there, Juicy around the shock bolt.
I mean, I would use it on
Well,
pistol
he
round
immediately
for
wants to
sure.
get out this kill contract too, right? 'Cause
Just to
if you're
guarantee
removing
it.
Somebody from the side itself, it makes it easier for your team just to get in there. And if you take skills out of the equation, that's a Hunter's Fury that could be really impactful in a retake.
We gotta use our ult smartly here.
Again, it's just that awkward kind of silence. Not really a whole lot of action across the map. They're letting them have space here. Sultan in an awkward one.
Vera loves
so
buying the
close to
outlaw
get the
against the
clear.
eco.
Because they're looking the wrong way. They're not really getting a single eye over there. They are going to drop the barrow mesh, but it's awkward. I don't think it quite goes the way they exactly want
Oh,
it
we
to.
missed.
It is going to at least do the job for the time being.
Oh, they committed
They
their.
did try to clear it out.
They committed their
Obviously,
Silva
they're not
ult.
going just deep enough.
Are
Hunter's Fury
we
doesn't quite connect
updraft
there.
outlaw
And
no
they're heading way back
scoping?
towards B, which is relatively clear right now.
Very small window in the timing that Paradox gets that grab nut out after the Hunter's Fury had been popped. And now you don't have that in towards a potential retake, right? Where you have an open site, you've still got this kill contract for Juicy as well. Trades abound for sure, but site's clear. We can start to get a plant.
Trying to go through though. Look at how quickly they're going to go there. The blindside's out. He narrowly misses the shot. there again.
Rumble is
He's
so.
already been
Oh
shot
my,
down.
he's so good.
God,
He's
I was
so.
reading this man's
Rumble
name
is
time
so
and time again. It's
good.
because he is just that damn good at this game.
He's so
Disguised.
good.
They hit map, series, and lower bracket streak point.
Like, it's not
Revenants
even fair to
are
have
just
this
a
guy
single
on your
round
team.
away from
He's
unfortunately
gonna get
setting farewell
poached.
in Ascension.
Every APAC
They've
team
given
is
it
hitting
such
us
a
up.
Solid crack here, but Disguised individually
They need a good
right now
Sentinel
just giving
player.
them-
Yeah. And DOS9 Sultan, number 1 and number 3
God,
rating
I'm
so
about
far
to
for
get a
this
call
whole
from
tournament.
Tarek about
Before
whether or not
round
Grumble can
started,
join
right?
Sen.
Dipping on down. Now DOS9 having
2
a
billion
really good
buyout,
performance
take it or
on
leave
this
it.
Euro, has not been able to provide too much for his team, unfortunately. You get in towards the side.
Juicy versus SK Rossi.
SK Rossi. Meanwhile,
Oh,
Skills
no.
is gone as well. This is all falling
this
apart
it?
for Revenant.
Is this it?
Eurosef comes out off the
Man
back of
advantage.
Rumble as
Don't
well.
cheer
This
yet.
is such a big pick. All this control. Both the duelists doing their job, taking control of that site. Now all 3 members in defended side and spawn. Revenant, I want you to go on. I want you to go hard, and you need to do everything you can.
Wait, we
right
lost
now.
one.
Sultan able to get at least one onto Vera, who potentially did overstep here a little bit. Tagged up though is 2 of them. And now as they try to clear on in, try to have their moment, Wayne and Grumble will deny, and Sultan is going to be...
Oh my
met
God,
with
we
a
stay
very
alive.
angry group of disguised players. And that will be your Malaysian Singaporean representatives making another step forward to the playoffs at Britama Arena in Jakarta, Indonesia. And as I've said,
NT.
told in the previous series, Komodo, how much pain these players...
Yo, NT to Team Revenant. You guys put up quite the fight. Hey. Hey, they put up quite a fight. They put up quite a fight. Respect to Team Revenant. Respect to all the Indian bros, Indian fans out there. Y'all got a good team here.
spot. And for Disguised, who aren't done just yet, you know, job continues. This win is only going to be short-lived because you're going to have to face up against Boom only tomorrow.
Yeah, and that's going to be a bit of a scary one for Disguised as well, but they'll have some reflections on what was working tonight, how they want to try and negotiate the veto as well. When I was looking at this series as well, I'm thankful that we got the third map. I think this series definitely deserves it. I think every series in a lower bracket run deserves it, right? I want to see full potential from both of these teams, and I think we had an absolutely fantastic
once the
match
next
to
game.
start off this series between both of these teams. It just feels like when I'm looking back towards Bind, there was such a clear pivotal read that came through from Disguise on a map that I thought so far in this tournament had been sensationally played, even despite losses on it. That Bind map from Revenant, I thought that they were going to
tomorrow?
deliver some goodness on that, and it just didn't happen.
God,
And
tomorrow
transitioning
at
onto
midnight.
Ascent as well. I think that there was just a couple of these really early
Against
moments,
Boom
you know, when you're
Esports.
bullying Sultan from not even being
But
able
Boom
to play
Esports
around,
is
when you're
even
not
better than
allowing these members of
Revenant.
to try and play their game when they're not adapting as well. It's just very clear that the idea that Disguised had going into this series was better.
Absolutely. And look, at the end of the day, there's just some moments where you can have the macro, you can have all the ideas, but when a team just runs and walks all over you, because the biggest thing in Bind and Ascent is that they had absolutely no space, right? Revenant just had gaps, and Disguised was able to take advantage of that every single which way. So once again, we give a very, very somber farewell to Revenant. I'm so stoked to see that they managed to give it a good run into this event, but ultimately it is Disguised to take it forward. And all I can say is, Juicy, you talked a very big game, my friend. You said you'd be the one to win it back-to-back here in Ascension, and you are going one step further to do that. So for us, it's goodbye.
Man,
But
that
for
was-
Dax and
that
Mika,
was-
walk us through. Let's get this to playoffs, baby.
That was stressful.
Straight into playoffs indeed, and you know, we're getting closer and closer, and of course for Disguise, that is one step further in. Unfortunately for Revenant, we do
In order to make it, we gotta first beat we had to beat Revenant, the best team in India, then Boom Esports, the best team in Indonesia, probably Riddle Order, the best team in Japan, then Full Sense that we lost to, the best team in Thailand, and then Sinpresa, the best team in Korea, who has not lost a series in the last year. And we're struggling at step 1. Step 1 was a struggle. And there's like 10 other steps left. We're struggling on step 1. You know what? Whatever happens, I'm proud of the boys. They won a series. I'm proud of them. I'm proud of them.
Who runs double duelist on
Are they doing an interview?
and instead of filling in the gaps, DSG is just able to pick you apart when you're such a post-plant kind of lineup, right? You're banking on getting that spike down, set up the utility of the deadlock especially. You can see already 12 first kills by DSG, many of them coming in for the first half. And there's a reason why the usual duelist for this composition is the Jet. There are times where I do feel that perhaps if they had something that could gap kills a
Rumble!
lot faster rather than the DOS9 Yoru, maybe that could be them getting picks from what Paradox sets up. But Grumble, Mika, stands all around. He has just been so consistent in this series, and yet again, the MVP award goes to him.
Oh yes, and like, you know, we've had our eyes on this player ever since we saw this roster qualify, just because of how consistent he is, right? Conk and
Goat.
Kodo were saying it as well. This guy is
Goat.
always there, no matter what map, no matter what series. He's just always putting up the numbers. And sure, you might have some players that will be a little quieter in one map, they'll come alive in another map, but for Grumble, he's just always there.
He's always just top fragging. I think he does. I'm not 100% sure, but he might have all of these games over 20 kills at the bare minimum. And Grumble has just been effectively a rock here for the likes of DSG. I also found it a little bit poetic. You saw Juicy's last duel there in that map. He caught SK Rossi especially, knocked the crown of the Prince of South Asia right there onto the floor. And from that point on, it was just DSG running over Revenant. And that was really what we've been looking for from DSG. Yes, they have the talent. Yes, they can just get these kills, and we saw how incredible the stats were in map number 1. But in maps 2 and 3, there was a fire. There was a bit of anger, perhaps, for them, and especially the fact that they're working hand in hand to capitalize on the picks that they got.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I love that you pointed that out, especially since Conky also said it like, hey, guess what? Juicy's still in the running. He's still coming back for that back-to-back, hopefully back-to-back Ascension win, right? Heavy is the crown, and Juicy currently has it.
Yeah.
So for Juicy, there's like a lot of attention on him right now. He does have a team that is slowly coming together around him. But you know what? I still don't see that superstar moment just yet. It's okay. We're saying that's later on in the script. That's later on in the script.
Look at the score. Grumble had a plus 30.
It's probably coming together here for this guys.
How?
It's kind of like it's out of
How
his
do you
mind
get a
and into
plus
fire for them.
30 as a
So
Sentinel
Grumble gets
player?
booed.
Oh,
What's next?
the hometown heroes, and they just want to get to the arena to get their hometown crowd buff. But
Like,
you
what
mentioned
the-
about Juicy
I-
effectively not
you
being
do
the
not
main
see plus
character of the
30s
story
quite
right
often.
Because I look back at the series again, Vera 17 first kills,
17
multiple
first
operator
kills from Vera.
especially, and he's good with playing the
This
entrance.
kid
And back to Grumble, I finally get
is
the final count.
crazy. Like,
He's
the
plus
enemy
30,
duelists went 5 and 12.
69 kills, 39
Vera is 17
hits.
and 8.
What is that insane stat from Grumble and the talent from DSG? You can dare say that it might be so difficult to keep up to their level, and it's just about DSG meshing. Really, it's always going to be that story, and perhaps this Ascension is when we finally see their final form at the end, when they're really the team package that we're expecting from them.
Yeah, not to mention, I do love that all of these players on DSG kind of have their own specialty. You know, you can tell when they're about to shine. It's like Vero has the off. It's like, oh, this is my moment. And it's like Juicy suddenly pulls out the kill contract. It's like, oh, it's his moment. You know, so you can tell when these players individually are going to pop off, right? So that's gonna make their next match very, very exciting. But before we wrap up, of course, we have a word with, I believe it's gonna be Styron from DSG, so we'll hear from the IGL himself. So let's pull him for a quick interview and put him onto your screens right about now. Give him a little congratulations before we wrap up the night. Hello, Styron.
Hello, Styron.
Congratulations to you and the rest
Hello,
of
hello.
this guy.
Thank
We
you,
have
thank
a few
you.
questions. So first question, you know, like the first map was very back and forth. You guys dominated the second map, but I'm wondering, at what point did you guys know that you were going to dominate Ascent?
On the veto. When the veto happened.
Oh, basically when
That is
the map
awesome.
was
So you
picked.
guys knew that eventually, like,
On
you
the
just
veto.
gotta get to the second map, and this is all yours. That's amazing. Dax?
Crazy confidence. I gotta ask you, Styron, first things first, you guys swapped over from the Sky to the Gecko on Bind. Oh, what necessitated that change? And perhaps one more thing, what was the mentality coming into Bind since you did lose Lotus the first go?
The mentality we had going into Bind was more of like we already like backs against the walls, you know. We know like this is our last shot, you know. So we just like make sure that we played fearlessly, like played our game, you know, not be like scared and like make mistakes because we are scared to make mistakes, you know. So yeah, we just made sure that we like went into second and the third map like really confident and make sure like we didn't have the fear in us anymore.
Crazy fearless,
Yeah,
right,
okay.
Mika?
Yeah,
the
absolutely. That
agent
definitely
thing-
did come out.
He's like,
Now,
oh, agent thing. Wait, I saw a follow-up. Yeah.
The only
go
reason
ahead.
is because I'm just more comfortable on the Gecko. We just play
Yeah.
what we are comfortable with and make it work. Yeah.
Yeah, and for me, as soon as I saw Gecko, I was like, oh, now he can shoot with everyone else. So amazing. I love the adaptation. And Mika, come on, one more we got for him.
Oh yeah, and this one I think you feel is coming. You guys are gonna be up against Boom next, so it'll be for that chance to play in front of the Indonesian crowd. So how is the team feeling about going up against the hometown heroes? And is there a player on Boom that you're like paying special attention to, maybe dedicating a little bit more research to?
How we feel. I feel like we already played our hardest game. Like our first game against Full Sense, I think that was our hardest game. And so going to our next few games, I feel like it can't get harder, you know. So like we already know what to expect, and for someone to like watch out for, I wouldn't say so, because I think Boom is really more of like a team that excels in teamwork. So I think they're kind of like more of like an opposite of us, you know, because we are like individuals that like can like pop off anytime. But
Well,
I
how about
think
you guys
Boom is
learn
a
to play as a
very
team so you
team-oriented
can have
team,
best
so
of both
don't-
worlds?
Not really have anyone that I like pay extra attention to.
Well, Siren, you're getting me hyped for that matchup. You're getting everybody hyped for that matchup. But for now, enjoy your win. Congratulations to you and the rest of this guys. And yeah, have a good rest.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you. You just had to bring it out
Yeah,
one
one more
right?
time, one more time for the interview, you know. But I
That
like
flex.
I like the point that Siren really made. It's just you look at Boom and they play such a team coordinated kind of style, and then on the other hand, DSG, as he mentioned, just comfort. What works best? Back against the walls. Stop being so scared. Be fearless, because I think really for DSG the mentality should be other teams should be afraid of them and their firepower.
And Dax, this is what we were talking about, right? These teams in the lower bracket, once their backs are against the wall, like Siren said, they transform. There's something about the desperation to stay in the game, to stay in this tournament.
Well, us
that
and
just
Riddle
really
Order are
brings
like
the
mirrored.
absolute best.
We
Sometimes it
lost
can-
against
sometimes it can be the worst
a
as
team
well,
in the first
but
round.
It really does
The
make
two
sure
favorites.
That, everybody
We went
gives
1-2
gives their absolute best,
each.
110% or 20% even.
Although I
when
would
you're
rather
in
be
this
playing
position.
against JFT than Boom
Look at
Esports.
this.
I'ma be
lower bracket we
honest.
have in Mika. 4 teams
Rather
left
playing
in the running
against
to
the
take
Australian team than
final
the
2
Indonesian
spots
team.
at the arena. JFT versus Riddle, Boom versus DSG, and there's so many implications
Oh,
of
boy.
these games right now. JFT, they had the biggest test in the upper bracket. Now how will they face off against a Riddle who feels reinvigorated with their youthful Japanese core? On the other hand, DSG, stop being so scared. There you go. Fangs bared against Revenant, and Boom. This is honestly the hardest matchup for them. Not just in a stylistic manner, but because this is still in the player rooms, right? They need that hometown buff. Remember the stat, they haven't lost an Indonesian LAN as a whole once they have that hometown crowd in front of them. So they need to play in front of their fans, in front of their community, if they want to, of course, make it happen.
Yeah, but no pressure.
No pressure,
Just-
no pressure. You know, it's not because they're in
There's no
Jakarta or
pressure.
anything, you know.
But you're absolutely right. It's that extra pressure as well that I'm sure is eating at them, right? There's that record. You want to make sure that you're there in front of the hometown and representing, and you know, it's gonna lead to a very exciting matchup for sure. As we mentioned, you know, the lower bracket can do stuff to these. You can transform your favorite teams into absolute, you know, demons on the server, and we're excited to see it. But that's it for us for today. We're gonna have more for Valorant action for you guys tomorrow, and yeah, it looks as though we are continuing the very best of Ascension right here in front of the hometown in Jakarta. So that is it from me and Dax, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for more VCT Ascension.
Ah. GG, fellas. Well, same time well, not same time, midnight tomorrow, where I continue to have more heart attacks. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for the support. Ithalex, thank you for the 10 gift sub. I probably won't be able to go to bed right away because my adrenaline is racing. So you know, I need to raid someone probably. Who should I raid? Let's raid. Let's raid PRX Mind Freak. You know, the PRX guys, the org let us use their facilities to train. So, you know, want to show some love to anyone with that org. Alright, Thanks for watching, guys. Tomorrow, midnight PST, we play against Boom Esports. See you then.